Hello, Mr. Man.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
I am doing good.
All right.
Doing real nice.
Sweet.
The Switch freaking the heck out like it was before.
Nice.
Things weren't going well. They did not.
All right.
This cat.
Sounds good. Let me see.
How's it hanging by the Spamo clan?
Not too bad.
Alright.
Yeah. All right. Hopefully Crow will be here soon, and then we can get started for reals.
This is coming through in okay, right? The Switch dude.
Let me see.
Had
Watch
it
your
right.
stream.
Frame rate was like freaking the heck out.
All right, that looks fine.
Okay.
Fix that while I'm at
Jelly
it.
boy. I
What?
love this dude. Going back. I'm so glad this is on um, the Switch Online.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of an underrated feature of uh, being an online member. It's like
Getting access to this,
the what?
getting access to the on the
Yeah, all the NES and Super Nintendo games. Like, yeah, a bunch of them are like weird old shit that nobody would have gone out of their way to play, but like, there's a lot of
yeah,
good
but there's
stuff
some
on there
eaters.
too. And so, you know,
Yeah,
and I'm like, for as cheap as it is, I think it's a good
just
service,
had.
even just for that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, get my money's worth out of it. But on the flip side, like I will pop Joe and Mac in on my Retron,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll play it there, and I love it. But like, am I gonna buy like a Boy and His Blob? Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. I think
Right.
that's on here.
Who
Or
knows?
Jelly Boy. One game I don't have is Joe and Mac 2. I have that on here. So I'll tell about Zelda 2.
All right. Now, where exactly is he?
Freaking, I'm gonna make this table a little more visible.
Hello!
What's up, buddy?
Wait, wait. Flip Discord over. Chair? Chair!
Chair.
Stream? Lights? Camera. Action! Hi.
Hey, look, Crow's here, and Kev has disappeared.
Wild crows appeared. This
Yeah.
isn't Zelda 2. I've been lied to.
I believe the Zelda 2 will be coming in a moment. So, yeah.
Kevin? Kevin, I see you back there. You can't hide from me. I like your rice hat, by the way.
Yeah. If you're just joining us on the stream,
Oh, you're live.
yes, we're live. I didn't tell
Ah.
either of you we're doing a new pre-show sort of thing where basically I go live before we're actually live, and so if you're watching on YouTube, you get some extra content, which is mostly just us bullshitting about all our setup shit and shenanigans and why we aren't on time.
And me being a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always am.
I mean, it's more fun that way. Who doesn't want to be a fucking weirdo? I want to be a fucking weirdo.
Bro.
Huh. Hi. Hello. Hi.
All right.
All right.
Scared me.
Sorry
I don't know
about
why.
that.
It's fine. I'm tweeting. I get very jumpy when I tweet.
All right.
You're a
Is
jumpy
that-
tweeter.
Yes.
I'm going to do a
Birds
sound
are
check
very
real
skittish
quick
creatures.
here on my end. So I am saying things. Now Kev say stuff.
Hello.
And now Crow say stuff.
Good. Oh, okay.
Close enough.
It's okay.
All right. That should be enough for our sound check.
Check it out.
And I will listen back to that. I am saying things.
Oh, this game
now
got
Kev
added
say
to. This is a
stuff.
healer. Hello. Weird.
Now Crow say stuff.
Good. Oh, okay.
Close enough.
It's okay.
Do you know what this circular object here is on the table?
It's a circle.
I feel like Mr. Spam, but no.
Let me get
Hey,
in.
we've got a person chatting already in our pre-show. Hooray! So,
All
hello,
right.
Seamus.
Pre-show.
And with that, shall we actually get live for real-ish?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Boom. And we're live, except for Crow's head
Right.
is cut off slightly, so I'll have to adjust it. Beep. There
You'll
we
have to
go.
adjust
Now you
Crow's
can see
head.
all of Crow's head.
Hey.
Amazing.
Oh.
All right.
Well,
and
what if I do this?
Oh, now we can't see your head anymore.
There we go.
Oh,
Now
God.
we see
Crow's head.
PlayStation.
What's happened? Oh, I probably also should have put on the game here. So now there's a giant black square where the game should be. So we apologize for any inconvenience. Welcome to our pre-show. Hey, Crowbird's in the chat. That's
Bees.
pretty cool. I haven't talked to
Yeah.
Crow in a long time. Hi, Crow.
It's true.
I'm so glad
Yeah.
you said bees.
It's been since like E3 or something.
Yeah, actually, I think it has. So,
It has.
53
Yeah,
or
anyways.
something.
yeah, we are live now on YouTube, but we're still getting stuff ready. So this is the new pre-show format where I basically just go live while we're getting stuff ready. So you hear our inane banter as we're getting stuff ready instead of only us hearing our inane banter. I decided we should share our inane banter with all the world. So,
Alright.
It's a little
Yeah.
behind the scenes action.
yeah.
Little rowdy sauciness. I got a new mic, by the way.
Swanky. Is that the
Razor
sexiest mic
Silent.
you ever got?
No, actually, it's the second sexiest mic.
All right.
My sexiest mic is in the closet.
Nice.
It's very shy
That silly thing.
and also not hooked up. But yeah.
So yeah, Seamus asked. I said on Twitter that if every time Kevin dies, I have to drink. So Seamus was asking about that. Yes, that is indeed a rule. So every time Kevin dies, we will all drink, or at least I shall drink. And I mean, it's drink to the past. So you know, you can all drink along at home if you would like.
I will sip because I have 2 beers.
All right.
That's all I got. Well, they're not even technically
Skip.
beers.
Skip says hello.
Hi, Skip. How you doing?
Regards
Hello.
to the team.
My friend.
And I'm playing this Skip's file. Well,
Is she in the
I
room?
think I'm going to try to catch him. She's not. No, she's in the other room.
Go into the other
Let's see.
room
Wow,
and
it
wave
takes
at her
a lot of
obnoxiously.
hits from these bits.
All right.
Are you
so-
live on Twitch?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I'm live right here with Zelda 2. Trip to the Past
But
version.
you said bits. So it's my
Oh,
brain is
yeah,
like,
the
Twitch.
bits are these little...
Twitch
Every
bits.
Zelda game seems to change the name, but I think in the OG Legend of Zelda there were Zols. And then in this game there were
Oh, that's the
bits. And then there are Choo-Choos and...
Zelda
That-
2 is
that is
confusing
kind of-
like that because it has some enemies that like are the same as other games, but they're named totally different stuff.
Alright, there you go.
I mean,
First
they
death.
All right, first
they
death.
basically choose.
All right. Well, in that case, we have to get our drinks open. So we are
Yes.
officially going to go live on the audio version.
Oh my gosh,
So
this
if
is
you
great.
guys are ready to open your beers for our theme song,
Yes.
we are
Ooh,
good for that. All right. So
Kevin, I'll let you choose my
Yes.
drink. Right or left?
Huh?
I'll let you choose my drink.
Oh,
or
righty
left?
tighty, always.
Right? Okay. I got it.
okay. So if we're ready, then 3, 2, 1.
Can't get a grip on the tab.
That's what she said. Hello, Internet. My name is Spamoman. As always, your host of Drink to the Past, the only podcast where fanfic is life. Also, share, subscribe, and ring that bell to get notifications every Friday when we go live on YouTube. I am joined by co-host and/or guests, and you may notice my co-host is missing. So we will have to think of a substitute punishment for Chris later on because something came up and he was unable to join us today. So
Something came up.
that bastard. Yeah, so I've got today's beer of the week, you might notice, is last week's beer of the week, but I also have a cider that I could have advertised. So this is Pulsar Dry Cider from Starcut, which is a great cidery, and I have no idea where they're from, but they make yummy stuff. They make one called Octorok, which is just awesome.
That's great.
And this one's a decent one. It's a drier cider than I generally like. I like them on the sweeter side, but I do like a dry cider from time to time. So it's a pretty good cider. Anyways, if you're drinking
what
along at
flavor
home,
cider?
just apples. It's
Apple cider?
fermented with Michigan apples. Yeah, they have a few different ones. I had one with a bunch of spices in it that they also made. My buddy brought this mix pack camping, and I accidentally made off with all of the leftovers. So, sorry, not sorry if you're watching, Tyler. I owe you a beer. There's some in the
Cheers.
fridge. Come on over.
Cheers, Tyler.
Yeah. So, yeah. And with that, we're going to get into... first, we're going to do Sean Drinks Something Stupid, which today has an interesting story behind it because I'm a goddamn superhero. I got my No More Heroes 3. So this ties into our first piece of news and booze here. And because mostly I just wanted to show off my big-ass collection of No More Heroes, because I've got all of them like a fucking pro. Yeah. Oh, name yourself a goddamn superhero. Does that fit?
Oh, I was going to just do...
Oh,
Drink to the
DTTP.
Past.
That works.
Yeah.
That's good.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, I haven't played much of it yet. Yeah, No More Heroes 3 released earlier today, so this is available in stores and things if you're interested.
Some good reviews, too.
Yeah, I watched a couple of reviews this morning, and I was like, actually, that sounds pretty good. And like, obviously, I'm a fan of the series. I've got all 4 of them here, but yeah, it's pretty great. Okay. Also, I forgot, I have my drinking vessel here, because I decided a storyteller should drink from a drinking horn, and also I have this drinking horn, and I hardly ever use it, so I ought to use it here. So, that'll be fun. Alright. And, anyways, so are either of you got No More Heroes 3, or are you interested, or fans of the series at all?
Never played it.
That's
Like,
one
I
I
know
skipped out on.
I know you're a huge fan, so I'll probably grab it at some point, but got too much on my plate already.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's kind of fair. The first 2 are available on Switch. I've been going through, actually, No More Heroes 1 on Switch, which the Switch port is really, really good, actually. I really am enjoying it. It's got a couple of mechanics that have not aged super well, but it's like, as a thing that I played before, I'm like remembering it all, so it's like nostalgically badly aged, if that makes sense. You're like,
Yeah.
but most of it is
actually does make a lot of sense.
and it's not really like unfun to play. Just there's a couple of segments that are sort of tedious, where it's like you just have to go go around the same kind of area several times, and it's sort of large and stuff. But yeah, it's a fun time. Anyways, got my drinking horn here, so I'm ready to drink.
Alright.
And
I got...
today's Sean Drinks Something Stupid, as I said, goes into that. So I decided in honor of No More Heroes 3, I would have to make a drink that, if I survive this, I will legit be a goddamn superhero. So, right in here in this glass, I have tequila, rum, vodka, gin, and some apple pie flavored moonshine. If I drink
That
this,
sounds
then
like death in a cup.
yeah, you all have to bow down to me as a glorious goddamn superhero.
Oh
So,
my goodness.
yeah.
Skip and I were drinking Death in the Afternoon before. It was delicious.
This is death at
But
midnight.
that sounds like, yeah, Death at midnight.
This is just regular ass death. So,
The clock strikes dead. Alright, we could die here, so get
Yeah.
your goblet ready.
all right, I'm
might
both,
get- we
I'm,
might
I'm
get
ready.
bubbled.
I'm double fisting here.
Oh no, we're good.
There's a coffee brand that apparently Red drinks called Death Wish.
My sister is big into them. This all actually surprisingly worked somewhat okay.
So you were just fucking unfazed. So
Yeah, I expected that to be harsh as shit, and it was not. It was like you kind of tasted every one of them, like one after the other somehow, and it's just kind of like you'd think that would not be all that great, but then it's like it's all right. Yeah. So I'm a goddamn superhero apparently. But anyways, shall we get into the news and booze proper?
Are we not rating our booze?
Oh yeah, we can. We should do that. We should do that too. So I introduced my booze. What you drinking there, Crow?
I haven't drank it yet. I was waiting. I've never seen this before. It's called Tropicoastal by Great Lakes. So I was looking. It's a tropical IPA, India Pale Ale.
Interesting.
Smells weird.
What's it taste like? Pineapple? Or coconut?
You
Like
stab
any
that
other
key,
IPA.
Kevin. Stab
Yeah.
that
It
key.
tastes like a,
That's
it
how you
tastes
pick
like a
'em up.
normal ass IPA. Like it doesn't taste like anything really. Like,
Oh?
That's kind of lame.
It's it's so bland. I'm gonna give that shit like a 6. I'm disappointed.
Wow.
Like it's not bad. I'll drink it.
Right.
I'm just upset.
Oh. Darn. Well,
Is that 6 out of
I'll
10 or
drink- if you
6
got-
on our scale of 3 to 17?
On the scale, 3 to
Okay.
17.
Okay. Just got to make sure. So that is below average. That's pretty lame.
It also double, like, I guess in a fair review, 11, I guess.
Right.
Or wait, yeah, 6
11.
Yeah,
So
11, 10. I don't know.
Right
whatever
about it,
middle ground
average.
is, like,
good.
wherever the middle is, drop it one below that.
all right. So 10
Nine.
is even. So it would be a 9. I
9.
guess. Yeah.
9.
9 on our scale of 3 to 17. So that gets a -1 racial penalty to being beer. That's pretty lame.
It's not
Yeah.
great.
What are you drinking, Kevin?
I'm drinking, it is called Phase Transition. It's an IPA from Foulmouthed Brewery.
I have never
And,
heard of them, but I like them by their name.
Yeah, they're a local one. They're in South Portland, Maine. And the thing that caught my eye for this is that proceeds for this beer benefit ALS research through
Oh.
ales for ALS.
Oh, that's actually kind of
So
neat.
I'm on the charity grind.
I will definitely drink to that.
Yeah, that's a good cause.
We have a charity coming up. I'll talk about that at the end of the stream when they show their shit.
I have
Yeah.
a charity coming up too, charity stream. We're all about charity here.
Oh yeah.
give.
Would you like to shill that now, or
Yeah, I'll show.
Yeah.
I'll show while it's all within my my brain right now.
While
Yeah,
we
yeah.
remember.
On Labor Day weekend on September 5th, I believe. September 5th at 8 in the morning, myself and Skip are going to be streaming for 24 hours in support of Project Hope, which supports relief in Haiti. So recently there was the earthquake that, devastated the area, in a very, densely populated area in Haiti. And we're hoping to raise some money and spread some awareness for the foundation, and We're gonna play a bunch of games for 24 hours. One of which won't be Zelda 2. We reserve that for tonight.
Yeah, it's a
But
special
we're gonna play
occasion.
some. Yeah. This is a special occasion. We'll play some Majora's Mask 3D. What else do we have? Joe Mac. Steve's gonna play some Commander Keen. We're gonna have a good time.
Right on.
So we'll play for 24 hours.
Yeah.
I have a link for it, but it's like a very long link. So I'll just say, if you check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/Shabazil, I'll have the schedule, we'll have the donate link and all that stuff. It'd be great. I'll probably tweet it out. Do tweet.
Yeah.
Tweet's where it's at.
Tweets.
So thank you for the show.
Yeah, anytime. If I can shill good stuff on my stream, then that's what I want to do.
Help is always good.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So with that, I guess I could introduce our guests, actually. If you don't know, our guests are Crow and Kevin.
Did I steal Crow's spotlight?
Well, no, I didn't introduce either of you at the start of the show.
Oh, no, I thought Crow had a charity thing coming up, too.
I do.
Oh, yes. So shill that.
Sorry, I overshilled you, Crow.
You're good. We can re-shill again later. But yeah, in October, from October 1st through the 10th, is Mental Illness Awareness Week, and the 10th is Mental Health or World Mental Health Day. So we haven't settled on charity yet. I actually just put a poll up on my Twitter at twitter.com/CoveredCannon. But point being, we're doing a whole bunch of charity work. There's going to be a whole bunch of streamers raising money for charity throughout that week. I have cordially invited these two to help assist as well, but it's going to be fun. I haven't quite set up the plans, but I plan to do a bunch of group stuff as well as people doing their own individual things. There'll be game giveaways and other fun shit, so it's going to be a fun time while we raise money for a good cause.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
And I'll drink to both of you. So
drink to that, yeah.
If you're drinking along, then drink for charity.
And I'll
drink
for
for charity. It's good
yeah,
for
if the scheduling works out, then yeah, I'll definitely come and drink along with both of you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
I like drinking.
Yeah.
I like charity. What did I say?
So,
yeah. But yeah, all right. So after that, I suppose we can get into the rest of our news and booze here. We have a handful of topics here tonight. The next one I thought was an interesting one. Kevin, you know a little bit about speedrunning stuff, don't you?
I do, yeah.
Right.
I like to think I'm pretty speedrun heavy even in this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm
you're
a
doing a lot
fan.
better than I would have.
Thank you, sir.
I'd have already died like that first Stalfos 1,000 times.
yeah.
This is a tough first area, like a tough first dungeon.
It really
Papa
is.
Palace is not kind.
Yeah, and it doesn't
tin
get
seats are the
easier from
worst.
there, though.
Oh, it just gets this game is one tough game.
The last level or two becomes okay until you get to Shadow Link, and then it's like, haha, fuck you.
Yeah, you can just.
I wouldn't know.
cheese and-
I've never got that far. I think I
Oh,
got
man.
to
You
the 5th or 6th dungeon. There's 8, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
There's 8, yeah.
So I think I
There's
got.
no shame in doing the Switch version where you have like the upgrades and stuff. I find
Yeah.
no shame in that.
My last one, I
Worth
did
it.
that, and I was using save states like every time I passed an enemy, because
Okay.
I'm just
Well, I
like
mean, look at this room.
just trying to grind through it, and I actually got. I didn't even get as far as I have before without save states and stuff. So I just gave it up at that point. I was like, nope, can't do it. I was like, I think I got to the 2nd dungeon, or no, I was in Death Mountain, which I think is just after the
Death Mountain is
2nd
rough, man.
dungeon. And I just kept going through, and like even with save states, I was like, just couldn't get through. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go play something fun now. So
Death Mountain is rough in this
Yeah.
game. You're ill-equipped usually. I'm not happy that I just got a red magic bottle, but we'll be fine.
right.
Also, we talk about how Zelda 2 Link is fucking jacked. Like, his forward sprite, when you see him lift stuff up, like, dude is buff.
Right?
It's
His
about that.
arms are all fucking, like, just huge. He's got
Yeah.
these skinny little legs holding him up somehow.
He skips leg day, but it's fine. You swing and
It's-
sword with your arms, not your legs.
It is confusing, like how the sword is the same color like as Link's body. Also,
It's a flesh blade.
yeah,
It's wrought of
he's
his
just
own
swinging his own
skin and
arm
blood.
at these guys. Skin and blade looks like that right now with the shield spell. There we go.
Anyways, so talking about speedrunning, there's an interesting speedrun record that was just set. Because for the first time, somebody has beaten the demo version of Ocarina of Time that is inside of Super Smash Bros. Brawl. So,
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
so there's
I'm
a
sorry?
thing that kind of arose in the speedrunning community like last year called stale reference manipulation. If you're wondering what the fuck that is, I stole this from Zelda Dungeon's summary of it. This process describes the runner's utilization of certain items, movements, actions, locations, and even file names to interact with the game code in real time. If sequenced correctly, runners have been able to use this method to warp directly from Kokiri Forest to the end credits, finishing the game in record time. So last year I actually reported on this as being the new speedrun record for Ocarina of Time, because the one before that was something like 12 minutes, I think, and they cut it down to like 7. No, that's not right. I feel like maybe it was 17 and they cut it down to 12. Anyways, it's so for the full game of Ocarina of Time, it's around 12 minutes, I believe, is the new speedrun record as of last year. I'd have to look up exact again. So, anyways, there's a good summary of this on Zelda Dungeon if you are interested. That's where I found this particular piece of news and booze. And it's, yeah, I think this is just insane that somebody, like, I remember as a kid so many times trying to figure out if I could beat the Wind Waker demo in on the Zelda Collector's Edition disc, which is like a 20-minute demo. Now I've actually found out that demo is incomplete and doesn't have the full game on it. There's areas missing from the game. You can't go outside of the game. You literally could not, even if you hack it. So
what does it do? What happens if you try?
It's got the King of Red Lions does the thing where, like, in certain parts in the game he does this too, where he just says, you are not ready to venture outside this sea, or whatever it is, his line, and he's just, like, automatically turns you around if you try to. And using glitches or hacks, I think people have got outside that barrier and found that the world is literally not coded there. So you can't actually do anything there if you did manage to go there, and it doesn't have anything. But the version of Brawl, or the version of Ocarina of Time in Brawl as a demo, is apparently complete enough, at least to where you can beat the game if you manage to use a glitch like this using the stale reference manipulation, which is super awesome to me. I don't follow a lot of speedrunning records, but I really like watching Ocarina of Time speedruns, particularly, just maybe because it's my favorite game of all time, and just because they come up with the craziest shit, and it's insane to watch some of these, record runs where I'm just like, okay, what are you doing? You're like, they have to be frame perfect, doing these weird, like, specific sequences of backflips and jumps, and then picking up bombs and putting them down in particular areas, and then somehow they're just at the credits. It's like, what? What the fuck just happened? And, like, having a loose understanding of it is like, okay, this is just
like
so cool
magic.
to watch. Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome.
I remember being a kid,
Nintendo 64 magic.
playing that Wind Waker demo you were talking about. I remember being able to beat Dragon Roost Island in its entirety in that 20-minute time frame, and just thinking that I was hot shit.
Yeah.
But yes, seeing some of this stuff is like, oh my god, these guys are fucking insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad feat to beat that dungeon in 20 minutes. That's a fairly lengthy dungeon, so good job.
I know at some point I want to do speedrun, or at least attempt speedruns of every Zelda game.
Mm-hmm.
If I can beat Ocarina in under an hour, I will consider that a win.
I've done no glitch runs is the only kind of speedrunning I've ever did, and I did it in Ocarina of Time in something like 6 hours, which is,
Yeah.
I think,
6.5,
like
7 hours.
Pretty great.
entry level as
That's
far
very
as
good.
like speedrunners go. I don't know. I haven't followed that kind of speedrun because I watch a lot of the any percent videos because I don't want to sit down and watch a 6 hour video almost ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hard time for beating that game is 24 and a half hours or some shit. So yeah, 6 hours. That's breakneck pace.
All right. Apparently, I was actually pretty great in middle school. Go me.
That is a very respectable run.
Yeah,
It's pretty great.
I
Better than
have
could
not
do it, for
done
sure.
it that quickly in a long ass time. So I now, like, I go back to it every year and I just do a casual run, and I haven't done any I haven't even done a challenge run in a long time. I did a few challenge runs when Ocarina of Time 3D came out, and I was doing some challenge runs on the 3D version. I did an Iron Man run, and that was kind of crazy. I did a 3-heart Iron Man.
Oh man, the
so
3-card
that-
challenge.
Yeah, which the 3-heart by itself isn't all that bad. But
It's
when you
rough.
add the Iron Man and you delete your save if you ever die, that
That's
got me
hardcore.
several times because it's like I got it. There was the first 3 times I reset my save was all in the Fire Temple because I was on the Master Quest version, which is in
Oh, that's even tougher.
yeah, because it's in the Master Quest version. There's a Stalfos in the Fire Temple, and he is like in this really close quarters area. And the first 3 times I went into that area, I forgot he was there because I'm very familiar with the original game, and I'm loosely familiar with Master Quest because I've done Master Quest several times, but not nearly as many times. And so I went through, and in the Fire Temple, the Stalfos just falls down from the ceiling, slashes me twice, and I'm dead. Because I have 3
Iron
hearts.
Knuckles are
and
your worst enemy in that game
yeah.
too.
They're not
because
as
of that.
bad because you
That's-
can always see them coming, and if
That's
you know
true.
their patterns, they're not that bad to dodge. But
Yeah. If you get caught,
if
you're
you get
fucked.
hit one time, they do 4 hearts
You're
damage.
out.
Or actually, I think they
Yeah.
do. I think
They do
actually no,
4
they were tougher in
out.
Majora's
4 or
Mask.
5.
In Majora's Mask, I think they did 8 hearts damage.
This is something I should
Is it 8 or
know.
6?
No, they don't do that much.
I
know
thought
that
it-
much.
It's like a lot in Majora's
They-
Mask.
I
They
think
do a
it's
lot, but
Five or
Maybe it's not 8,
Actually,
but it's like a lot.
It might be.
I'll say
I'm
5
not
or
too
6.
sure. I should know this because I talk about speedrun. Oh, we get hit by these fuzzy fireballs.
I was so afraid you would
I
die
do
there.
speedrun Majora's Mask 3D,
Mhm.
and I have a time of under 4 hours. So I feel like I should be the authority and know this, but I'm not quite sure what it is offhand.
By the way,
And I do get hit by them a lot. I always bring Fairy into
the
the room there in the graveyard.
Mhm.
the record
I might die here.
for Ocarina of Time glitchless speedrun is 3 hours, 40 minutes, 49 seconds.
And it's a really great run.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to watch.
Hmm. At that, I might watch it. That's long enough that I'd be like,
I'll probably give it a shot.
I'd have to give it a couple of sessions because I rarely have that big a chunk of time just alone. Anyways, shall we go into our next piece of news and booze?
Yeah.
Which is actually a tabletop piece of news and booze, which
All right.
tabletop adjacent. If a long ass time ago, there was a episode of
so
Drink to
far
the
away?
Past where Crow and I decided that card games are tabletop games.
Yeah.
So go watch that or something. Anyways,
Yeah, they go-
so
they go to
Magic the
motorcycle.
Gathering's next Dungeons and Dragons expansion was announced. So they're doing another Dungeons and Dragons expansion, which is based on Baldur's Gate. I kind of wished Chris was here because I know he's played several of the Baldur's Gate video games that I haven't. I've played Dark Alliance, but I've never played the quote unquote real Baldur's Gate games. And I'm loosely familiar with the setting from D&D. But I think that's kind of cool. Also, coming to Magic the Gathering are new crossover cards featuring Fortnite, Street Fighter, and Warhammer. And
Lord of the Rings too.
and what?
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, yes, I forgot Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings. I didn't put that on
Yeah.
there. So.
That one isn't mentioned that much in the post, though. Oh, look at these guys.
Show and tell.
Ooh,
Ron
what
and
are those?
Xanathar.
Funko Pops.
Right.
Strahd von Zarovich.
Okay.
And
With a D20.
Yeah,
Nice.
Xanthar. That's what it is.
Oh, okay, cool.
Older.
Yeah, I was
And
like,
both-
it's like a blue beholder. Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
They both-
Who's that guy?
yeah.
they-
like
they
I
both
said,
have,
I'm
Well,
like
he has a guide to
loosely
everything.
familiar with the Baldur's Gate, which
Sure.
because
I have a
Baldur's Gate
Xanathar
is Forgotten Realms, isn't it?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
And they both have D20s.
So I've
Pretty
played
cool.
a handful of campaigns in the setting, and mostly I'm familiar with it again because of Dark Alliance, which was a really fun like co-op RPG back on, I want to say
PlayStation 2? right?
PlayStation 2. Yeah, I was gonna say original Xbox or PlayStation 2. It might have been both
Yeah.
even. I don't remember.
I think it was.
Because I
Oh,
remember
might
playing
die
that
here.
right
Oh,
around the
oh,
same.
everybody's got a drink.
We got a drink. Kev died.
Nope. Well, that's a shame.
Yeah.
That,
But yeah,
Rough.
because I played a ton of those kind of like that and Champions of Norath and Gauntlet and all those kind of like
Oh, yeah.
4-player co-op RPGs back in the day with my brothers, and they were awesome. And Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance was no exception. It was super cool to play. My only problem with it was that one of my brothers was like super into min-maxing, and sometimes when we were playing co-op, he would just spend like an hour in the shop. And I'd be like,
Oh,
dude, can we go into a fucking dungeon, please? I want to go. I want to go like play the game. Your stats are good enough. Come on. Which, you know, to each his own. You know, there's not like a wrong way to play or anything. But partially, I played Drizzt also, so I never had to upgrade my sword, because you start with Icing Death and Twinkle, and I don't think Drizzt can unequip those swords in that game, so you have to keep those swords, but they're good swords. Like, at the start of the game, they're like ridiculously awesome, and at the end of the game, they're like still pretty good. My brother, who is, again, like, super into min-maxing, managed to find, he through the item customization and creation system, he managed to make better items, but, like, it took a long time, and I didn't care. I was like, whatever, I'm gonna go slash up some bitches, so. Yeah. But what do you guys think of? Do you have any experience with those, or do you have anything to say on the crossover cards with Fortnite and Lord of the Rings and whatever?
Are we still talking Magic?
Yeah.
We're still talking Magic, yeah.
I avoid them. I can't afford Magic. I can
That's
barely
fair.
afford Yu-Gi-Oh.
Right.
It is interesting the way that some of these cards are being released. From what I understand, for Fortnite and Street Fighter, they're going to be released as like secret layer cards, which
Yeah.
has been divisive for people. Personally, like I am of the opinion that it's got to be something crazy for me to, go out and purchase a secret layer product.
Right. Yeah.
They're very expensive.
Yeah, that's kind of my problem with them, because like they're so cool, and I almost bought the Godzilla lands, and then I didn't. But my brother knew that I was so into them, the same brother that was actually into crazy min-maxing, so it comes around full circle. And he bought them for me, and I was like, oh my god, this is so awesome. So thanks, Dan, you're a bro, literally. So I'll drink to Dan.
Dan.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know. I could go a few rounds talking about this, but I will say, just to like put a bow on it, having like mechanically unique cards that are being, like they're legal in formats, and having them be at such a premium price is kind of a turnoff. Like, why am I like, why do I need to go out and buy like a very limited run product that's like $50 or $60 or something, or maybe even less?
yeah.
you know, and then like you maybe only get one of that card. Like people had this issue with the Walking Dead series cards.
Yeah,
Because they
and
were,
that
like,
was kind of my
mechanically
problem.
rigged.
That's why I didn't buy the Godzilla lands myself, because it was their lands, right?
Yeah, lands.
They're a dime a
you know,
dozen. Like,
yeah, lands are
literally-
a penny a dozen.
yeah, they're super cheap. But these lands have Godzilla art, so it's different. So it's like they charge, what was it, $50 for the set of 5, and I'm like,
I
$10
think
a
so, and it's
land is a lot for like that's good
It's a lot of
price
money.
for a rare good card, right?
Or
For
like
a
a gift
land,
set.
that's absurd.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's
I'm
fun.
super happy that I have them, but I never would have bought them myself. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, and having one of is like kind of a shame too, because it's like, what if you just don't play like a certain color, you know?
That's kind of
And
my
it's like-
my other problem, because I have a great deck to put them in, but it's a commander deck, and the commander is Gishath.
So you're using
It's
3
it's
colors,
actually
that's
right
it.
above here. Yeah, and he's only 3 colors. He's red, green, white.
Red, white, and green.
So
is
I-
Naya Commander.
Yeah, so I have those 3 Godzilla lands, and I'm just kind of sitting here on the island in the swamp, and I'm like, they're so cool because they've got fucking Godzilla on them, but what do I do with them? I'm like, I've thought about like going and buying some of the other Godzilla cards to make like a blue-black Godzilla deck, but again, that would be
Yeah, but it's
really
kinda
expensive to make it. And yeah, blue-black is not the best colors for Godzilla. The best colors for Godzilla are red, green, white, which I already did, right?
Yeah, or just red and green. Which
Yeah, actually,
Godzilla
just red and
is,
green.
like the Godzilla
I don't
card
think I
is.
have a Godzilla card that's white. I do want the
Yeah, the only
Mothra
one
card.
would be,
That's the one that I
Mothra, yeah.
might buy because it's like super good, and I'm like,
Mothman?
It's a very good card.
yeah,
Luminous
it's
Brood
based
Moth.
off of the original card is Silkworm Brood Moth or some such.
Luminous Brood Moth.
Luminous Brood Moth. That's what
Yeah.
I call it. Yeah, and it's
Yeah, it's
so
great.
it's-
It brings creatures back with flying tokens on them if they
Yeah.
don't have a flying token on them.
Mhm.
Really great for if your creatures die and they come back and they fly.
Yeah, which is
Like,
awesome
come
because
on.
one of my biggest
great.
problems in that deck is it's all aggro, and like if you board wipe me, I'm gonna be like just stunted for a few turns until I can play Gishath again and get some more free dinosaurs. So
That's
like
an
being
expensive
able to
price.
just have all my guys come back with flying would be fucking insane. So I'm
Yeah.
like, that one I might actually like buy even at the ridiculous premium. But again, that's like a Mothra card is different from a land, right?
Yes,
So yeah.
there's more merit to it. But
What
plus,
do
in
you guys-
Commander, you only need one. You
yeah,
only need one in Commander.
yeah. I don't need like a play set of them
Exactly.
because that would get ridiculous. What do you guys think of the other ones? The Fortnite and Street Fighter, and I guess kind of Warhammer makes more sense because I think it's just regular Warhammer, right? It's not 40K, so it's like
It's
that's
40K actually.
it is Warhammer 40K. Okay, then I wrote it down.
Yeah.
So it's my fault. I will have to drink.
I cannot confirm nor deny, but I believe it is
Okay.
40K.
Yeah, I'm not a big like Warhammer fan, but obviously as a guy who runs a tabletop RPG podcast, I have to respect Warhammer 40K. My brother, not
It is 40K.
a different one of my brothers than the ones I've
well.
brought up a couple
Oh,
of
we gotta
times. We have to
drink
drink
again.
because Kev died.
Shame.
But anyways, one of my brothers
That's not-
actually used to
that's
buy
not bad.
Warhammer minis, and we would like customize our Dungeons and Dragon minis by using Warhammer minis. So that's
awesome.
basically the only experience I really have with Warhammer is that we used some of the minis as D&D minis, and that way we could, because they make so many cool custom pieces that you can put together for Warhammer minis, and we made a lot of really cool minis. Mostly my brother did, but he bought a lot of the pieces and let us make a couple of minis with him. So that was kind of a cool
Again,
2 in a row.
Death Mountain.
Yeah, I fucking told you.
There's a reason they call it that.
Yeah, because you're gonna die all the time. But yeah. But what the fuck is Fortnite doing in Magic?
The same thing The Walking Dead is doing in Magic. It's a lucrative crossover.
I guess, yeah. And, I mean, to be fair, I think Transformers started it, right? So...
Transformers did,
Right.
yeah,
I
and that's
forgot
like the
about
one
that.
that people really want, and it was like the first thing.
I don't know. I feel like Transformers makes more sense than Fortnite, but
Somehow it
It's
almost
all about
does.
money.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's money.
I guess at the end of the
He
day,
loves
it's
the
like,
money.
yeah, you cross over with Fortnite. Now you got a lot of Fortnite players, like, looking at Magic cards suddenly.
Yes, and that's the point of it, right?
So-
That's the reason why the D&D set sold so well. Is you got
Yeah.
D&D players playing Magic, people that might
Yeah.
have been on the fence.
I
Mhm.
mean,
Good
we all
marketing,
know that
good strategy.
It
Yeah.
like any other good thing is just going to be ruined by scalpers and resellers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a thing in Magic anyway. There's a lot of... I feel like there's a lot of issue with the resale market in Magic in general.
Yeah. But like,
The
I'm
way
s-
Wizards treats it too is like a little scummy sometimes.
Yeah.
in my store, I'm sitting on a bunch of D&D cards. Like, I've got a shit ton of packs.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like even for as non-existent as my Magic market is, when those Fortnite cards hit my store shelves, they're just going to be gone, always.
Hmm.
Just because it's Fortnite.
Hmm.
Just because of the brand name, people are going to want it.
I feel like that's really weird because, like, I don't know, maybe I'm just an old man, like, yelling at a cloud, but I'm like, Fortnite is, like, it's fine, but it's not great. It's just a game.
I mean, I agree.
I don't know.
It's just a game, but it's a game played by a lot. Like
It is, I guess.
Have, like the boys play Fortnite, and we
Mhm.
had them in a Fortnite league that was free, which was pretty cool. So every week they played 2 Fortnite matches,
Mhm.
and it was fun. They love Fortnite, but not as much as like there's other kids that seem to like obsess over it. Like there's
Yeah.
so many Fortnite products too, like Nerf
Mhm.
guns and all
Yeah.
this stuff. Nerf
It's weird
swords.
because I feel like my kids are too young to play most teen-rated games. Right? They're 5 and 7. I feel like teen-rated
Okay,
games are generally not appropriate for them. There's exceptions here and there. I feel like some teen-rated games are like whatever. It's not that bad on the violence. It's maybe got a, like Final Fantasy VII remake. I felt like was fine for them to watch most of the time, but every now and then Barrett would just swear way too much, and I'm like, okay, that's a little joke. If it's a game over, do
That
we
was
have
a
to
canon
drink
one,
twice?
too. Yeah.
But it's like I feel like for
I
a
just lost
teen-rated
lot of
game,
experience there. Ouch.
Fortnite is relatively violent, and my kid in first grade
Oh, I don't
came
know.
home a couple of times last year, and he was like asking about it because he has friends at school that play it, and I'm like,
Yep.
this is crazy that like first graders are playing this game. Like that's kind of strange to me, I'm like, I don't feel like I'm overprotective as a parent, but I'm like, Fortnite is not a game that I would encourage my kids to play. I feel like it's more violent than is appropriate for that young. When they're 10 maybe, whatever. But like
we have an 8 and
6-year-olds.
12-year-old that play it, but
Yeah.
it's sort of like the 12-year-old.
Yeah, maybe
So the
8,
8-year-old
but
tags
like
along.
at the time he's like 5 and 6, and he's coming home and he's like, "Yeah, my friends are playing Fortnite. What's that about?" And I'm like, "That's kind of weird that my kid is like talking about this." I don't know. Maybe again I'm just an old man yelling at a cloud, but it is what it is. I just don't get it. I also don't get most kids' music these days, so, what the fuck do I know?
I'm not here for you kids.
Next piece of news and booze. This little bastard is 21 years old! Look at him! Look at him!
Somewhere.
He's so shiny! But yeah, actually, I pulled this out the other day because I read that, oh yeah, it's the 21st anniversary of the Game Boy Advance launching. So actually, probably this one I got a little bit into its life cycle, so this one's probably not quite 21, but I'll drink to it anyways. But yeah, so yesterday was the anniversary of the Game Boy Advance. 21 years ago yesterday. This was released in the US, I believe, maybe Japan, I don't remember which one, so I have to drink. But yeah, I love this thing. It's still kind of fun to play on, although it's hard to see. It doesn't have a backlight, and that bugs the poop out of me. So I tried to record a little video of myself playing Doom yesterday, and I was like, I can't see shit. so like, yeah, I'm remembering as a kid, this was just a thing that you were used to, that you had to hold your Game Boy at the right angle to catch the light. So it's not a huge deal,
Experience.
But so. Yeah. I don't know if you guys did this. This struck a memory in my brain. When I was a kid, I didn't have like an MP3 player. I had one of those portable CD players, but it was a piece of shit and didn't work half the time. So what I used to do is, for certain games, I would plug them into my Game Boy, turn it on, and just max out the volume, and that would be my soundtrack, would be the title music. Because the title music for Mega Man Battle Network 3 is fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one year for New Year's, while my dad was watching the ball drop, I was just laying on the floor listening to the Battle Network theme song.
I didn't do the same thing much, but I do particularly remember there was a sound selection mode in some Kirby game or another, where you could just play it and it would keep cycling through the whole soundtrack of any area that you had gone through in the game. And so I would play that with my headphones, and I'd walk to school or whatever with just jam it out on my GBA on I don't remember if that was Nightmare in Dreamland or Amazing Mirror, one of the other Game Boy Advance Kirby games. I don't remember which one, but one of them had a mode where you could just play the sound selection, and it would go track to track to track. So I do remember doing that on my way to middle school or elementary school or whatever. It was awesome.
Kirby Game Boy Advance. They had Superstar on Game Boy Advance also, right?
Superstar was originally... No, it was
It
remade
was
for DS.
Originally.
It was on Super
DS,
Nintendo originally, and it was remade for DS. Yeah. I got another game in here, which I was wondering if you guys have ever played, which is a super awesome game. I can't get it out, but there it is. But if you guys have ever played Golden Sun, I fucking love this game.
Oh my gosh. I have not, but Skip has. Skip is a big Golden Sun fan.
Okay. So yeah, I saw it with the rest of my Game Boy Advance games. So I'm like, I'm gonna actually finish this and try and go through the second one, because I started the second one at one point, but I didn't go very far because I realized, oh wait, this isn't like a sequel. This is like literally just part 2 of Golden Sun. It's like one game spread across 2 games is basically what it is between Golden Sun and the second one is Golden Sun...
Sun 2!
2 something. Yeah. I'm like, I keep thinking Dark Dawn, but that was the actual sequel for DS, which I played, but I didn't love. I was like, it was okay, but I just didn't like it as well as the originals. But yeah, so I kind of put that on the back burner for forever, which it was kind of happenstance that I ran into this game, because originally I played this game on an emulator, because my brother in the 90s was a dirty pirate, and I played it on an emulator, and it was pretty cool. I was like, this is really awesome. And then just one day I happened to come in to the used game store I used to go to, and the guy there told me that some girl was like really reluctant to let go of these games, but traded them both in for some game she wanted at the time. And I was like, yeah, I want to buy both of those right now. So I bought both of them at the same time used, and it was like a fucking great deal.
Quite a
I was
pretty
like,
penny right now.
are they?
Oh yeah.
Wow. I know a handful of Game Boy Advance games are now, but I haven't like looked through my catalog.
Ooh. Oh, got a drink.
Literally anything Pokemon.
Yeah.
Right.
I never had any... I never had any of the Game Boy Advance Pokemons. Although, I think my brother has Fire Red, and I think that's one of the Pokemons that's really expensive now, isn't it?
I'm not sure. Pokemon is a franchise that tends to hold its value, especially like the mainline
Yeah.
games. I wouldn't be surprised if Fire Red was, because that was like a very, it's a remake of the OG. I think that got a lot of like lapsed players also back into the series.
Yep.
I think Fire Red was the more popular choice, just because it had Charizard on the
Oh,
front.
yeah. Charizard. Pokemon loves Charizard also.
I think the highest,
I'm
at
a
least
Blastoise
the
man
one that
myself.
I've always seen
Yeah.
as being the highest price was usually Emerald. I don't know if it's still that way.
Okay.
But the tertiary games usually ended up running a higher price point.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the instances where they did like, well, no, they did that for Crystal, where they had like the third game.
Called
I
Silver
remember it was
Crystal.
like that third game.
All right. Shall we get into our last piece of news and booze?
Let's do it.
All right. So some Gamescom shit happened because Gamescom has been happening this week. I haven't followed like every little thing, but I just picked out a couple of big announcements that they made just to kind of go over. So if there's anything else from Gamescom that you guys have followed, I don't know how closely you guys have followed it or whatever.
I have not.
Okay, so I guess we'll just talk about these things. So Halo Infinite's release date is announced as December 8th, and there's a multiplayer cinematic trailer, which is an interesting choice, I think. I think it's weird that they're announcing that they're... It seems to be like a heavy emphasis on the multiplayer in this cinematic trailer, and I'm like, is this going to be one of those things where the multiplayer is going to be like how the story ends up happening? Which I'm not sure if I want that in Halo or not. I'm not sure that... I don't think that's like necessarily a bad thing objectively or anything, but I don't know if I want it in Halo. Because Halo is a game that I have always loved, just going through the campaign with my brothers and seeing the story that way, Just,
And you can't do that at launch.
and you can't
There
do
is
that
no
at
co-op.
launch.
No
There is
co-op
no co-op
campaign
at
at
launch, and that is so fucking bullshit. And I'm like,
I'm a little.
I'm
peeved at
watching
that.
this trailer, and I'm like, this is kind of insane
scared
to
for
me
Halo.
that this, like, there's this much emphasis on the multiplayer, and I'm like, it's kind of ambiguous at this point if it's, like, really story important or not in the multiplayer. But I'm like, the story of Halo has always been, like, in the campaign, right? I'm
Yes.
like,
And
I don't
the
think that
Spartan
necessarily
ops.
needs to change.
No, it shouldn't. I mean, that's the point of the campaign, right?
Yeah. And I love Halo multiplayer, don't get me wrong. I'm excited to play this, but I would be more excited if I could just, like, play co-op day one, right?
Right.
It's, like, kind of bumming me out that I don't get co-op day one.
Yeah, it's very odd. It seems like maybe they're being pushed at this point to say, like, hey guys, remember the holiday that's coming up?
Right.
We got to get this game out.
You
for
missed
that.
the
We
last
delayed it too
one,
much.
so
Yeah,
you better
that's
fucking
concerning,
have it
yeah.
ready, right?
got to deliver. Yeah.
Gun to your head.
Peanut butter, no jelly.
Yeah. If you don't understand that joke, follow me on Twitter at SpamOManoSpam.
I don't respond to all of them, but the ones I do, I'm happy with the responses.
Right.
I stand
Rocks,
by my
rocks
statement.
before sticks.
I'll take on both a shark and a crocodile right now.
All right. You do it. Horizon Forbidden West has been delayed to February 18th, 2022. But, I mean, we didn't have a release date before this, and I feel like most people that are following this game were like, yeah, it's going to be delayed. It's going to be 2022 anyway. So I'm like, all right. I'm not super surprised, and like I don't think it's going to hurt it that bad to release it. It released in the first one released in February, and it did really well. So I'm like, that'll be a good February game for PlayStation or whatever, and it'll give me more of a buffer zone between, because I'm getting Tales of Arise next month, so I'll need a while after, just to complete that before I buy anything else on PlayStation. Which excludes the fact that I still haven't got the Ghost of Tsushima DLC. Fuck, I forgot that.
Stepping back just briefly to Halo, did you guys see the special edition Halo console?
I heard that there was one. I didn't look at the images or anything.
It looks very nice. It's very reminiscent of the Halo 5 one.
Okay.
I managed to get a pre-order in for it.
Oh, cool.
All right.
So, I wasn't supposed to. GameStop put the pre-orders in the system they didn't put the name of the console, but we put 2 and 2 together. So I'm like, fuck it, putting money down right now. And then they shut it off like an hour later and sent out a message like, hey, nobody should be putting pre-orders on these. Like, well, shit. And then they sent out another email like an hour later, like, so we heard some people got some pre-orders before we sent out this communication, so don't tell people to cancel them. We'll fill them, because that's our bad. So I'm getting a Halo Xbox.
All right. Nice. It's a Series X?
Yes.
Sweet.
Series X. There's an Elite controller and a headset as well. And the Elite controller is GameStop exclusive.
Neat.
Ooh. Master Chief.
All right. I might look into that controller.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I don't know. I have 3 Xbox controllers now, so I'm like, one more wouldn't hurt. But the Elites are the expensive one, aren't they?
Yeah, it's gonna be $200.
Ooh, that's hard.
Did you see the Master Chief Xbox One controller? They're like green and gold one.
I don't think so. The last one I actually saw of a special edition, I remember one of my buddies had the Halo 3 edition Xbox 360 that came with a controller. And that was pretty cool.
Oh, that one was cool.
I really liked that one, yeah.
I thought that one was cool. I love Halo. Halo 3 is my favorite. I actually just rearranged my games, and I have, like, the Tower of Halo.
Uh-huh.
I have the
I'm
Reach.
staring at. I have so many copies of Halo 1.
I have the Reach one. I have Halo Reach.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Halo
It's
Reach.
silver.
I got
I
the...
like Halo Reach. I used to not be the biggest Halo Reach fan.
I like.
Hold on, I'm going to show off right here.
I especially love the Final Fantasy VII
Oh, yeah,
ass.
that guy.
Yeah, we know. When are you gonna do a podcast? Oh wait, that's right. You can't wear that then.
I wish I could wear this thing. It's shaped to be a holder for Halo 1, 2, and 3. If you put the game boxes in there, it's shaped to actually hold the game, like, CD cases. But at that point, we never saved our CD cases. I actually have a big-ass, like, CD flip folder
big
thingy.
binder.
Yeah,
You're
the big
one of those
binder.
people.
So, yeah. I was
I
at the
have-
time, and now I regret it. And now I'm like, man, I wish I had, like, somewhere I know my Halo 2 Steelbook is still at my parents' house in their basement
Oh,
somewhere.
that Steelbook looked awesome.
It was so
I'm
cool.
disappointed.
So,
I'm disappointed in past Sean.
yeah, me too. But I still have all my No More Heroes games, so there.
Hey,
No,
that
that's
works.
good.
I have, like, all the boxes, man. I have, like, N64 boxes. I
Nice.
saved all that stuff. There's some games I wish I did have boxes for that I know I have, but I don't know what happened.
Mhm.
The Nintendo ones didn't hold up quite well. Genesis had some great cases, game cases, for their games.
Yeah.
They're like the plastic
Speaking of
card
Genesis
case.
game cases, I don't know if you guys caught my stream a couple of weeks ago, but I got the Scott Pilgrim Special Edition, which comes in. It's like this game case is like based off of the old ass Genesis
Oh, look
style
at that.
cases, so it's like this giant
man,
ass.
that's dope.
Yeah, it's so cool. So yeah, I did a whole unboxing. If you want to go back there at some point, but
That's so cool.
yeah, I love this game anyways, and And the fact that it came in the Sega Genesis style case was like, that was why I had to get the super special edition. It's not even the super special edition. This was the mid-tier special edition. And I was like,
Okay.
whatever. It comes with
It's worth it.
stickers that I can put on my base, and it comes with a big-ass poster and a soundtrack CD. I'm fucking sold.
Not bad.
So,
I think
Yeah.
that game has a heater soundtrack too.
yeah, we were talking about it because actually, like, it turned Chris onto Anamanaguchi, which is the band that does. They're a band that does a lot of chiptune like music, and
Oh, cool.
they did the whole soundtrack for it. And Chris got really turned on to this band. And I remember back in college where, like, I didn't have a car at the time, and so I'd usually bum a ride from him or one of our other buddies, and whenever we were in his car, we'd be pumping that kind of music, and it was fucking great. All right, last piece of news and booze from Gamescom is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge will be delayed until 2022, but they also announced that April O'Neil is a playable character, so that's
cool.
kind of neat. Because
Very
I'm
cool.
not sure April O'Neil has ever been playable in any of the Turtles games. Because usually it's just the Turtles, right? From what Turtles games
Yeah,
I've played,
usually
that's how
you're
it
you're
works.
turtling and you're trying to save her or whatever.
So I'm like, that's kind of neat. And I guess people are also extrapolating that possibly like Shredder and Master Splinter might be playable. But
Oh, that's cool.
that's not like confirmed. That's just like some of the speculation I'm seeing around the internet is like, oh yeah, this
I want to play as Casey Jones.
yeah, that might be cool.
Wrexham Fools.
Yeah. So
Baxter Stockman.
I'm getting somehow into all these beat 'em ups because, like I said, I got Scott Pilgrim, of course. I just beat River City Girls on co-op with my brother too. So I'm like,
Oh.
I'm suddenly into beat 'em ups again, and I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be cool.
We got a
So I'm
drink.
gonna get this. All right. Yep. I'm gonna get this when
Sorry,
it comes
gang, I'm
out,
dying a
whenever
lot
it
here.
comes out, and just play it on co-op with my brother. It's gonna be cool.
It looks like a super fun game.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Playing it with the boys too. That'll be a good time.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I think my kids will like it. They actually, one of the handful of arcade games that my kids have played was one of the newer Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcades. They had one at the pizza place by us, which has a little arcade, and they've been shut down since COVID started, though. So I think they might probably not open back up again. So that kind of sucks.
Oh, that's
But yeah, one of my coolest memories I remember is that, my dad would just like buy him some tokens sometimes when we were at this pizza place, and we'd go and like play, whatever games happened to be there. There's a couple of little like motorbike racing games on the thing, and it's not like a huge arcade. It's like an arcade in a pizza place, or like a movie theater arcade, where it's just like, yeah, there's
sure. It's like a few games.
Yeah.
It's like House of the
And,
Dead is there, and it's like been beat up for the past like 25 years.
right, yeah, but
Yeah.
one of their
It's like
ones that they
Cruising
got
Exotica.
in. Yeah, I love Cruising Exotica. I fucking love that game.
Yeah,
That game
yeah,
is so
Cruising's
great.
like
Yeah. But yeah, we went and they got a new, like a brand new arcade cabinet of the 4-player teenage. It's like a new one based on like all the art style is like the new Nickelodeon
It's not like
series.
the OG.
No,
Oh,
it's-
that's super
yeah,
cool.
and I'm like, oh my
Huh.
god, this is actually really cool because I remember back in the day at the roller skating rink, me and my brother or not my brother, my best friend at the time used to go and we'd play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and
Turtles in Time.
Marvel vs. Capcom at the roller skating rink,
Oh, cool.
and
I thought you were
yeah,
gonna say like the X-Men game, like the 6-player one.
I don't remember that. That would have been cool.
That one's dope, but not a lot of. I've seen it only once at the
Hmm.
Galloping Ghosts in Chicago.
Uh-huh.
But grappling for the controls for those games now is like being a large adult that is not,
Uh-huh.
a little kid anymore. It's like if you want to have 4 adults at a an arcade cabinet for Ninja Turtles, you're going to be cozy and sweaty.
Right. Yeah, I didn't really think about that. I'm playing it with, like, my 2 little kids and my sister. It's like, it's not that bad. But, yeah, I can kind of see that. So, for that, I don't mind, paying the premium and getting it on my home console and whatever. So, alright, well, that brings us to the end of our news and booze, which will bring us to our video game topic. And I'm going to try and hold my drinking horn without spilling it. Because the one problem with drinking horns is that there's no way to, like, set it down.
You need, like, a horn holder.
I've seen some of them. Actually, my old... there's this bar that closed, again, because of fucking COVID. But it was one of my favorite places. And, actually, I wrote a tribute tune to them, so that's what I will play right now. But they had, like, these mugs made out of horns, where it was like they'd have this part and they'd like put a cap on it, and then they'd cut off like here and fold down the end to make a handle, and the mugs are so fucking cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, but that place unfortunately has gone away. But yeah, so I wrote a tune to commemorate the epicness of the Lair of Abraxas. So I'll play that tune as to kick off our video game topic. All right.
I heard
That was great.
I think this is the first time I've heard the whole thing. I'll drink to that.
It all came through on Discord and everything? That's awesome.
Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah, that's weird, because
I
usually
miss a good
Discord,
part of
like, thinks it's not a voice, so it's like it cuts it off weird.
Yeah, like chops
so-
it.
That's kind of cool.
I'm glad that I got to hear that. That was very nice.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so our video game topic is actually our only topic tonight. So as we might have mentioned before in the episode, we earlier this year did an E3 betting special, which I won, and the punishment for the other competitors is that they have to sit through a dramatic-ish reading of my fan fiction. And real quick, let's make some drinking rules. So this is a Legend of Zelda fan fiction. I don't remember very much about it, but I wrote it for the very first Zelda Dungeon Fanfiction Friday.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I wrote it for their
Perfect
competition, and I entered it, and they did not pick mine. So, although, on the other hand, that's why our buddy Dave Lasby, I think, is getting published by Zelda Dungeon, or not, but he's allowed to post his stuff on Zelda Dungeon or whatever. I don't understand the details of it. But he's a real good buddy of the podcast. He's a real good buddy of all of ours, I think. Awesome dude.
Guy.
So check out at DaveWayne09 if you're interested in good fan fiction. But apparently my fan fiction was not deemed as good as his. So I did not get to continue on Zelda Dungeon. I didn't even get a response from Zelda Dungeon. I don't know if they responded to other writers, but like I sent them this and I was like, hey, here's my entry for the Fanfiction Friday thing. And they didn't even email me back. So I don't know if that's a good sign or if they just like had too many entrants and couldn't keep up. I don't know. So I don't judge them for not responding to me, but I have a particular writing style, and apparently it was not their taste. So whatever the case, so we're gonna get into this, and I like very vaguely remember this. I remember it's got some aspect of Majora's Mask being referenced at some point, I think, but I don't remember much of the details. So this is going to be somewhat of this is going to be a trip for me.
When's the last time you've read this?
Literally,
Did you proofread it at all before this, or we're just getting like the
I
hot?
proofread it insofar as I sometimes I repeat words here and there, and I think in writing that comes across as awkward, so I try to reword things at that point. If I repeat the same word more than a couple of times very close to each other, and a lot of times I feel like a lot of writers will tell you this, that they'll just say just a lot. So I went back and I tried to take out words like that you just or things like that where it's kind of blah
each
word.
writer kind of has a thing, yeah. I said witch a lot, not like I'm flying on a broom,
so
WHICH.
I didn't do a very thorough. I remember I had to get it I had one day that I sat down and I wrote it, and then the next day I sat down and I kind of proofread it once, maybe twice through, and I corrected some of those kinds of things. And so it's not that proofread. It's technically proofread, but it's not well proofread. So
I thought you just dug it out of the vault, blew the dust off, and you're like, all right, here we go, boys.
That's pretty much what I did, because
I
have not read this since I sent it in. Which, whenever that was... So, according to this... Actually, I have this here on Google Drive. Last edit was on May 19th, 2017.
Oh, okay.
4 years ago.
Hey, I was a Zelda Dungeon member at that point.
All right.
But
are you the guy that denied my fanfiction, Kevin?
It is.
Hold on, let me look at my email real quick.
It's not going to this moment.
No, I wasn't part of the writing team, so I would
right. No problem.
I will say, I think there's a lot of submissions that came in for Fanfiction Fridays, so
right, yeah.
You'd probably just
again. I don't begrudge the Zelda Dungeon team. It's still a great website. I go them all the time. But so yeah, go check out.
Heck, I'm wearing the Zelda Dungeon Marathon shirt from this year right now too. So it's even outside of Zelda Dungeon, I love ZD. I feel like this is going to be a good opportunity while we get the preamble for me to go grab another beer.
All right, you go grab another beer, and I'll finish this beer, and then I'll open my next beer.
Go for it. I've still got a little bit left on mine. I've been kind of nursing it, but it doesn't taste great. It's one of those that it's been getting worse the more I drink it.
Lame. That is fucking awful. So I've actually got a pretty good one that if you missed it, I think last week. Actually, yeah, because I didn't actually update the beer of the week on the little stream thing here. Because I always like to write what beer of the week I have on the stream here. But yeah, I didn't update it. So apparently last week was indeed this Vanilla Porter from... who are these guys? Dry Dock Brewery, which is out here in Denver. They're a cool little place that I actually heard of a long time before I had their beer, because a buddy of mine is in the music scene here, and he really is big into piratey songs, sea shanties, and things like that. And he has a sea shanty sing-along that, I don't know if he still does it, but he used to do it at Dry Dock Brewery a few years ago. I don't know if it's still a thing, but he used to do a sea shanty sing-along all the time at Dry Dock Brewery. So so why don't I play a sea shanty while we're waiting for Kevin? So here's a popular one. It might not sound quite right because I'm on my practice chanter, which does not sound as... some of the notes don't always come across quite right. But here's a popular sea shanty for you. There you go. It's the Weller Man. It's all got popular because of TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh.
You kids these days and your ticking talks and your whatever.
I have one quick sea shanty story to throw in here.
Do it.
Yeah, go for it.
we recently went to Storyland in New Hampshire, and it's a great park for kids, adults. It's good for all ages. They have a pirate ride where you're like on a boat, and it's like a guided thing. You know, they have like a pirate captain actor who's like, you know, gives the story of like you're finding Blackroot's treasure. So while we're waiting on the line, they have this like parrot with like a grog barrel under him, and he's drinking and everything. And you know, there's music playing, and I'm like, huh. When we weather was storm, we weather was when the wind was. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I know the song. Like, and they were playing a bunch of songs, and I'm like, oh, I know these. These are all on my Spotify drinking songs playlist. So
Sweet.
it was pretty cool to be out in the world and see that drinking songs are fun out at theme parks.
I was always that weird kid in elementary school that was like, you know, we'd all be talking about the new episode of SpongeBob, and I'd be like, did you hear that remix of Drunken Sailor in the credits?
Yes.
And they're like, the fuck you talking about?
We have like some nights where usually it's actually when we're driving home from the school for like an event where we'll play drinking songs.
Nice.
On the playlist, and they like clapping along with songs that have clapping.
Yeah.
So when the song starts up, the boys will be like, does this song have any clapping in it? And it's like, oh, sorry, boys, this one doesn't. But, you know, we could sing Randy Candio and have a good time.
I've been a wild rover for many's a year.
Yes, I spent all my money on whiskey and beer.
Yeah, that's a great one.
That is a really good one.
I play that on tin whistle usually, but I think I can translate it to bagpipes. Hold my beer. I gotta hold my beer awkwardly, but I think I can do that.
Don't spill it. You spill it, you have to drink.
There you go.
That was great.
Discord did the usual thing. Like,
wide with delight.
small couple of notes.
All right. Also, I have a random anecdote about this hat. That tonight I was like thinking, what hat should I wear? And I was thinking, what topics are we going over? And I was like, oh yeah, we're not doing like a regular video game topic or anything. I'm reading my fan fiction. And so I thought to myself, I need a storyteller's hat. And then I thought to myself, what the fuck is a storyteller's hat? But instantly this hat came to mind, so this is the hat that I put on. So I guess this is my storytelling hat now. So now it's story time. Before we get into story time, Crow, make a drinking rule for this fan fiction.
Don't put this on me.
Okay, then Kevin, do the first one, and Crow, you have a second to think. Now Kevin's on the spot. Ha ha ha.
What was the thing? Every time you say just now, that we die.
Every time I say just, we have to drink.
No.
No? Okay.
How about, whenever and this may doom us too here, but what about the word mask?
Mask. Okay. Every time the word mask comes up, we
When
will
mask
drink.
comes up, yeah.
All right. And Crow, do you have a drinking rule?
Anytime that Kevin or I give some sort of audible response that's picked up by Discord,
Oh no.
we drink.
Okay.
Oh, that's gonna be no. But I plan on giving a little commentary to this as it's going.
Okay. Words can be exclusive or like omitted.
Okay, so
I don't know.
if you give non-verbal
Yeah.
reaction,
Negative. It's got to be negative.
Oh, a negative reaction.
Nothing doesn't
Oh, man,
count.
what a terrible spot.
okay, so if you have any groans at my weird puns or fourth whale breaks, or
so like
things,
a face palm drink.
If
Yeah,
you're if your mic picks it up, that's the thing. If Discord doesn't catch it, no muting. We can see that.
right?
But yeah, if Discord picks it up,
You're dead. That's it.
All right. So You guys have to be the moderators on that because I'm going to be actually, like, not exactly looking at you because I have to read it from my other screen here.
We'll guffaw loudly for you.
All right. So, and then just let me know, and I'll hold up the drink sign anytime we need, because I got my drink sign. This is a classic drink sign. I've had this drink sign for years.
Uh-oh, well, hold it up, because I just died.
Oh, Kev died.
That's a shame.
Because we can't take that rule out. All right, so, anyways, without further ado, my ridiculous fan fiction from 4 years ago. Me. Sorry, not sorry. After a long day of adventuring through Hyrule, Link just... wait, did we do the just rule or not?
No, it's not just.
Math.
Okay.
Math.
Link
It's
just
math,
wants
yeah.
to make it to an inn and sleep. But the moment he steps into town and sees the chaos, he realizes sleep might have to wait a little while longer, as it is incredibly difficult to rest your eyes during a festival, especially when your childhood friend is anxiously awaiting your return at the front gate to go gallivanting gloriously until the day is up. Oh well, at least she's a princess, so she'll pay for everything. I'm slurring my words slightly more than I thought I would, so I'm not sure if that's
warmed
just
you up
because
with
I'm
dying a few times in this
Drunk
game.
too much already.
maybe I don't know. Well, I'm a goddamn superhero, remember? So
We got
True.
a GDS
and plus,
here.
so I had a goddamn superhero and a whatever my cider. Where's my cider? There's my cider. So yeah. Anyways, I'm a little ways in, so. We don't have to drink every time I slur my words, but I'm going to drink occasionally because of slurring my words.
Add to the
Well, I'm going to
story.
do you one better, because I'm going to bite the dust here on purpose.
Oh, fuck you.
Because I don't have any lives!
That's fair.
Woo!
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing. A Zelda game with lives? Who invented this?
I don't like the lives. But anyway, cheers to Ganon. Double drink.
Game over.
Oh, we double drinking on Game Over?
Yeah. We all do our best, Ganon. Oh, that was good. Zelda 2 Ganon's like a little bit lighter.
All right.
I like Ocarina of Time Ganon.
Anywho, Link and Zelda had not spent the day together in some time, and she had the hots for him. But he never seemed to notice, for fear the one fan that was shipping him with Saria or Malon would write an angry letter to Shigeru Miyamoto, and he would totally freak out and never make another game. That would suck. Like, majorly. Anyways, it seemed like he ought to hang out with her, because saying no to the hot princess was like saying no to bacon. You could, but there is no conceivable reason to. They played many mini-games, and Link totally owned at Boom Bam Golf, winning a purple rupee. His face was beaming.
That's good.
Shortly after the festivities began, ending, how ironic, Zelda invited Link to the outskirts of town in hopes of finally professing her love to him, but they met the most peculiar distraction. A short, bald man in a skin-tight green jumpsuit that had somehow actually managed to look dumber than one of those new male rompers. Remember rompers? Apparently they were a thing in 2017. I forgot
Yeah,
about
really,
rompers. Oh my god.
We were
I'm
ramping
dragging up
rompers.
repressed memories. I'm pretty sure we got a drink for that shit. Let's drink to rompers.
For rompers.
Managed to look dumber than one of those new male rompers. I'm a fucking genius, aren't I?
Them newfangled
I read
rompers.
another thing that I wrote like several years ago recently, and it had a
well,
like
I'm
weird
gonna drink
dumb
again.
joke about Hillary Clinton running for president, and I was like, oh my god, this totally doesn't make sense anymore. So that's another one of those
Yeah,
things.
there's some things that are signs of the times.
Yep. Yep.
I watched an English project I did, and we made a Manny Ramirez steroids joke, and it's like, who the heck's gonna get this?
Right? Link immediately recognized him and gripped his sword, ready to strike, but quickly remembered Tingle was the only cartographer in the canonical universe. He was annoying as balls and a cheap bastard to boot. But if Link ever came across another undecipherable map again, he would be totally boned. So he let the freak live for the moment. I have come to deliver a warning, Tingle bellowed most mysteriously, to the hero of winds. Wait, which timeline is this? Downfall, Zelda replied callously. Oh, so sorry, Tingle corrected himself. Hero of Twilight. That's the child timeline, Zelda began, but was quickly cut off. Hero of Hyrule! Tingle danced around and threw confetti in the air. You are in grave danger, for an evil presence returns. Link turned to speak, but was cut off by Zelda since he can't speak for himself in cutscenes. Which evil? Vati? The sorceress Varen? No, man, Ganon. This is a console entry. Who cares about side villains? Most of the fan base. Ganon will be coming for you on the 13th night. He will be revived by the power of Majora's Mask. Oh, there's the mask.
Go. We got it.
Nice.
So,
I was expecting the power of Grayskull for the way this started.
by the power of Grayskull, I revive Ganon.
I'm
After-
glad we didn't do the rule of no fourth wall breaks, because, oh my god, I'd already be out of alcohol.
I
Right?
sort of expected that going in.
I don't know. Remember, if you run out of alcohol, then that means I have to go get more, and I have to drink for both of us. So, you're okay if you run out of alcohol. I will be a
but then-
bro like that. And I might
Where's
die,
the fun in that?
but I'll be a bro.
Uh,
Anywho, Ganon will be coming for you on the 13th night. He will be revived by the power of the Majora's Mask. You mean the thing Link has hanging on his bedroom wall in this timeline? I thought that was just a hint at a future remake. This was before Majora's Mask 3? Was that before? No,
There's a
it
link
wasn't.
between
Majora's
Worlds
Mask.
3D.
Yeah, okay, so that's
3D.
a cool Zelda reference that I put in there.
Yeah,
I'm
wow.
clever.
Oh, wait, what year did the Link Between Worlds come out? 2011?
Yeah, so that was a while
Majora's
before.
Mask 3D was 2013. Yeah,
Yeah.
wow, look at you.
Yeah, so
You called
all right.
it.
Yeah, I made a
I'll
funny
drink-
joke. I'm
I'll
cool.
drink to jokes. I have to
can
ask a
drink
question.
yourself
Are you... Is it the death concoction that's in this horn?
No, this is
Tequila and such?
so this was my first. I had my Starcut cider, and then now I have a vanilla porter, which we
Oh,
shilled
great.
while you were out of the room. So this is from Dry Dock Brewing, which a buddy of mine does a sea shanty sing along, and that's how we got on the topic of sea shanties. And he does it at
okay.
this brewery, or at least he did a few years ago. And I haven't talked to him about the sea shanty sing along recently, so I'm not sure if he does still.
Okay.
But there was at one point a sea shanty sing along at this brewery. So, and check
Sure.
out Dry Dock. They generally make decent beers, so good
I'll
stuff.
keep them in
If
mind.
they, yeah, I don't know how widely they distribute, but yeah, it's good
Yeah,
stuff.
it's hard. Sometimes though, like I have buddies in New York that are finding Maine beer there, and it's like, oh, great, cool. Like you guys know what
Right,
I
yeah.
got. Although it
And
makes me feel
there's
like
enough
a little less
breweries
exclusive.
in Denver that I'm sure somebody from out my direction ships out there, but I'm not 100% sure
see
who.
some. I see some beers, but it's none that I feel like I like. Usually
Mm-hmm.
like sours or like porters, and some outside my range.
Okay, that's fair.
For Skip, I get a porter for her.
I love me a porter. Anywho, so Zelda was just speaking. She asked if he means the thing hanging in the bedroom that hanging on his bedroom wall in his timeline. I thought that was just a hint at a future remake. To which Dingle replies, "Nope. Happy Mask guy told me to warn Link if I saw him. That dude knows shit everything." Link had gotten bored and walked away after Tingle started breaking the fourth wall. He was almost home when he noticed a lamp on inside his window. A lamp on inside his window. I'm gonna drink every time there's a typo because that is my fault. A lamp on inside his window. Well, that kind of makes sense. There was a lamp on.
There was a lamp on
Inside his window.
Inside his
so
window.
That's not a typo,
that's okay.
but it's a weird phrase that I could have worded better. Anyway, that was odd, though, as he had taken the only lamp in the house out on his adventure. As he drew closer, he noticed it was only the freaky mask on his wall that his great-great-aunt had made, or bought, or found in the trash. After so many generations, the story gets more plot holes than the Star Wars prequels. Link, he heard distantly and was pretty sure it was Zelda, but just in case he thought he would duck into his house so Tingle couldn't find him. Link! As her voice drew closer, he recognized her cool, fake British accent and figured he would leave the door open a crack so she could get in. Zelda was rushing to Link. She had to warn him about that which he had not heard, just in case Tingle knew something and wasn't just being a douche for once. Wait, hold on. I did say mask earlier, so I think
Yes,
we have
I caught that. I didn't know if anybody else did.
Okay.
I did not.
I didn't realize at the time, but retrospectively, I'm like, hold on, I need booze. Link, she shouted once more as she pushed the door open. Tingle warns that Ganon will be resurrected by whomever is controlled by Majora's. She stopped talking quicker than a freaky animal hybrid of Usain Bolt and a cheetah.
All right.
Because she realized Link was wearing the mask. Drink, we said mask.
Oh, he was wearing the mask. I picked a good rule.
Just getting worse as it drinks.
He turned to her and said what he always said. That's what it says. He said what he always said.
Excuse me, princess.
I guess it's excuse me, princess, or it's something.
One of those two.
Link! Fear welled in her eyes, like when my sink overflowed a couple days ago.
Oh, woof. Wow.
I remember that shit! Fuck! I was so fucked by my sink! I was... So this is a funny story, but it's kind of bullshit that I fucking, like, my sink kept clogging up, and I put Drano in it, like, once, and I was like, after that, I was like, okay, Drano, too many times can corrode your pipes and shit. Not gonna put Drano in it more than once, right? I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna tell the guy that ran my, I did a report or whatever to my apartment complex, and I was like, fix my sink, bro.
Oh, okay.
And they never came and fixed they came and fixed my sink. Somebody came and looked at it. I don't know what they did, but it still didn't drain. And I put in another report, and I said, it still doesn't work, and they never came back. And then a little while after that, my kid at the time was like 2, and he left the sink running. And it flooded the fucking bathroom because the sink overflowed. And I got, like, this big-ass fine for, like, flooding the bathroom, and because that ended up dripping down to the unit below me and all this bullshit. And I was like, I fucking told you, you stupid bastards, but they lost the paper, so they didn't have any paperwork that proved that we told them. And I was like, you're full of shit, man. But anyways. So, that is what that was a reference to, and it is so fucking annoying that I'm going to drink again. Bastards. Anyways. So, Zelda was speaking. Link, fear welled in her eyes, like when my sink overflowed a couple of days ago. Please tell me you are not planning to resurrect Ganon? A strange voice emanated from Link's person, but it was clear. The mask... Drink... was projecting its personality through him. What up, princess? I'ma go cause me some havoc! Link's usurped body drew the Master Sword and raised it skyward. It began to glow, and he fired a bolt of energy straight out the window. Zelda peered out to see what he was aiming for, and saw what she always wanted to see ever since 5 minutes ago when Tingle started bugging them. You killed him. This is the best fanfic ever! But you must be stopped from harming any more innocents, even if they are all batshit crazy, and could easily be replaced by a relatable, interesting character. The mask turned Link's head around 360 degrees. I've been stuck in a mask.
Oh boy.
Watching this foo get his house took over by a mega wuss version of himself from an alternate reality and sell him crap he already owned in the last game that he somehow misplaced. This is exactly what Ravio did. I totally forgot this. Oh my god.
True, yeah.
Fuck you, Ravio. You're a stupid asshole. I fucking hate that. Like, I like him, but I fucking hate him.
It's a local drink,
This
too.
is understandable.
He's a cool, dynamic character, but he's also a dick. So, there's that. Anywho, the mask is still speaking, I believe. I am really bored, and also, I'm a super powerful ancient deity with the hero of the wild under my control. How are you going to stop me? First, I would like to correct you and state that the hero of the wild is not confirmed to be in any timeline yet, that we already established this story takes place within... Let me stop you right there. The mask stopped her right there. You already used the whole timeline joke a couple pages ago. It's only funny once, sweetheart. Now, get out of my way and find a plot hook or something. Link's body smacked her down with the flat of his blade, because it would be more climactic if he let her live and try to foil his plans with a team of heroes she would assemble over the next dozen days. Then, somehow, he walked out all slow-mo like Bruce Willis in Die Hard, walking away from the exploding house. Except, now that I say that, I think that was a totally different film. Anywho, it was totally badass. Zelda.
You're thinking of Hostage.
That might have been... I don't remember what
It was
I
Hostage, because I like Hostage. It's a good one.
I feel like... I wrote this, and I was like, did Bruce Willis walk up? No, he was in, like, a building the whole time. It wasn't a house. Where was the exploding house?
No, he was in the exploding house in Hostage. That's a good like psycho thriller.
Okay.
It's a good movie.
I might have to check that one out. I feel like
should.
maybe I saw that on
holds
TV
up.
once, but I don't think I've... When I used to watch movies on TV, I'd usually, like, watch them while I was playing a video game, so I wouldn't really pay attention, and they were also, like, cut. Like, to where they were almost not the same movie.
Or, like, cut to the...
Yeah. So if it's anything like the Die Hard movies on TV, it was really cut, because to get the Die Hard movies on TV, they did some shit, man.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's got what's his name? Who's Angel in the X-Men movies. I forget his name, but he's good. Yeah, Brucey.
I don't know that guy's name.
I don't know it either, but he's there.
I'm like, I can
not an
envision
angel in
the
this movie
guy,
either.
but I'm like, I don't know what his name is, and I'm not sure if I've seen him in anything else. I don't know. Like, maybe I have and I didn't think about it.
Sounds like you gotta watch Hostage.
Could be, yeah. So that's on my movie list now.
Alright.
Are we still keeping, like, a running list of movies that Kevin hasn't watched, too?
Probably not.
That list, Skip has that. It's a mental list.
Okay.
I know the most egregious one is Jurassic Park.
What the fuck?
Never seen Jurassic Park.
What the actual fuck, man? I'm gonna drink to you not watching Jurassic Park.
I know the song.
Zelda began to weep gently, then got a look of confidence on her face, like she was just coming up with a plan to foil the mask and save Hyrule. I said mask.
Drink.
Kill me.
You got a better beer, Crow?
I do. Yes, this one's
All
much
right.
better. It is. It's a local beer.
Ooh.
The Columbus Brewing Company is their Festbier Oktoberfest style lager.
I
This
just
one-
saw an Oktoberfest in the store, and I almost bought a 6-pack because I was like, ooh, first Oktoberfest of the season, bro!
Yeah.
But I was like, I had to be money conscious this week, so I did not check it out.
Yeah, I like. Hey, cheers.
Because for people like us, Martzen Lager season is the same thing as pumpkin spice season, but it's way fucking
Yes.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
I-
much
My buddy
rather
just
have a
got
good.
pumpkins and is like, he's on cloud 9 for it. All the pumpkins out.
All I know is I when I bought the one that was like an experiment, like I don't know if it was gonna be good. And then I saw this, I'm like, Oktoberfest is one of my favorites. I'm gonna buy myself a comfort drink in case the other one is not good, and it wasn't. So I'm glad that I bought this.
All
I'd
right.
rate this
You
at a
made good
solid.
decisions.
Nice.
I'd rate this at a solid 14.
Fuck yeah.
All right.
That's
Really
a good
good.
beer.
Oh, I never rated this beer.
Yeah, what's your rating? 3 to
I forget the
17.
scale now. It's 3 to 17.
3 to 17.
This is
Unless
a nice,
it's
like-
really worth cheating for, then you can give it an 18, but only if you cheat.
No, I don't need to cheat. This is like a tenner. This is a good beer. I
Okay.
enjoy this one. And then my backup here is the tried and true Fries Leap
Mhm.
from Sebago Brewing Company. Great
Yeah.
beer, really good. This is like their flagship one.
So my cider, I'll give that a good solid 11. It's like
Nice.
it's above average for a cider, but not enough to get that +1 bonus on stuff. This vanilla porter
It's a
is actually one of my favorite. Right? Yeah.
It's not a +1 cider.
Yeah. But yeah, this vanilla porter from Dry Dock is a really great go-to. It's like everything you'd want from a vanilla porter. So I'll give that a 14 as well. It's a
All
pretty
right.
good beer. So anyways, the sentence I just read, just to get us back into the place where we were. Zelda began to weep gently, and then got a look of confidence on her face, like she was just coming a plan to foil the mask and save Hyrule. It had to be her, or maybe Darunia. His hammer could probably bust that mask.
Drink.
Called
Also,
it.
the Zelda 2 character I'm talking to says, "I am thirsty."
All right, well, I'll drink to
Hey.
anybody that's thirsty.
Now you know what? We'll get a drink for her.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
So,
Right-
in
right
parentheses,
from the
I
well.
have here called it. She set off first thing, but then it got colder than balls on the brass monkey, on a brass monkey, which is actually a term used for a rack sort of thing that holds cannonballs in a pyramid shape. You just learned something. I'm not sure if it was worth it, though, since by the time you read all this, you will have forgotten the sentence I interjected these parentheses betwixt, and have to read it again, skip the parentheses, and then continue the story.
Please
So-
read it again and skip the parentheses. For everyone's sake.
I called it! That's what it said. Called it. That's what the called it is for!
You did call it.
I
You called
fucking
then, and
called it.
And you called
And
it
you
then for
went
now.
into my called it! That is the
You
greatest
didn't-
thing ever, and I have to drink for it.
You didn't know it then, but you called it now.
I didn't know it then! 4 years in the future, I fucking called it.
So proud of you.
Do you have
So-
any like lucky numbers written in here that I could play for like the lotto or something?
I don't know, I say mask a few times.
Oh,
count how many times
There,
I
you
say
said it
mask.
again,
Is
so I'll
there a
drink again.
count yet?
I lost count.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyways,
At least 5.
so without the parentheses, she set off first thing, but then it got colder than the balls on a brass monkey, so she headed back to town to rest for the night. In the morning, she was woken by a Rito singing a song he had learned about the local area from his late master. She thought about bringing about the temporal inconsistencies, but considered the mask's warning about reusing jokes. There's the mask again. Fuck, I'm almost out of beer again. I might have to go get another beer. Heading down to Goron City would be fairly easy, since there is no mention of Gorons in the Downfall timeline. I can say that they are wherever the hell I want them to be, and I need a Goron in this story to counterbalance all the sissy Hylians, so it's like a quarter mile down the road. Zelda arrived after a few days' travel
like
because she
Google Map for
could
this?
not read the map. What was that?
We do like a Google map for this.
Google Map, yeah.
I'll drink to Google
Where
Map.
is Goron City? Fuck, I'm out of beer. Okay, hold on. I need to get another beer. So, Kevin will sing you a sea shanty while I'm going and getting another beer.
Alright. What do we
Make
do?
it a good one.
We could do it. What do we do here?
You got
I
a
think,
child.
yeah, I love it. He like picks the kid up too. What will we do with a drunken sailor? What will we do with a drunken sailor? What will we do with a drunken sailor? Early in the morning, waving up she rises, waving up she rises. Ooh, I'm starting to like lose my breath from this beer.
Yeah, it's not good.
Waving up she rises, early in the morning. Oh, I want that fairy.
Have you heard the Longest John's version of it?
No.
Yeah,
I only know the like the Rovers version, I think.
The Longest Johns did a cover of it, but instead of just doing the same one where it's the same like round robin style shanty that you've got, they essentially turned it into almost like a story.
Okay.
The part that you're familiar of is only the end of it. So
Oh,
it's-
interesting. Well, we got a drink.
That's a shame. We'll let Sean know he owes us a drink when he gets back.
He's owed a Zelda death. Early in the morning, waving up she rises.
In the biggest storm I'd ever seen, we almost lost our way. I'm talking from the deck, and boys, I think she's going down. But don't you fear, then up from here to drink until we drown. Oh, what will we do with the drunken sailor? What will we do with the drunken sailor? What will we do with the drunken sailor? Lie in the morning.
Hey, hey, and up she rises, way,
Give us a
hey,
drink.
and up she rises, way, hey,
Oh,
and up she rises,
You got
early
a
in
death
the
drink
morning.
to start you off.
What do I have to drink to?
Me dying.
Oh, man.
He died like
I
a
did
man.
hold a child above my head too.
Yeah.
But that's just if you're feeling up to it.
Rescued / kidnapped a child from a cave.
Nice.
To learn a spell from a wizard.
You know.
Oh, no, actually-
I can
I'll
teach you.
trade you one sparrow
Good.
for one child.
Wait, what did this guy say?
That's
All right,
right.
Oh,
so
no, I learned this
today's
spell.
third beer of the week, accidentally, is Dry Dock. Also, that makes this this a pretty good apricot blonde.
Ooh,
So apricot is not a flavor I have in beer very much. So this is a kind of a neat one.
Yeah.
It's
that's interesting.
I thought it said dried duck for a second.
dry
Cluck,
duck.
cluck, I'm a duck.
Well, because I have my Streamlight
A duck
in
walked
front of
up
the
to
monitor that I
lemonade
have.
stand.
this up on, so the light, like the glare from the light, was obscuring part of it. So it looked like a U.
Yeah, but this is a pretty good another decent go to. It's a nice light, very refreshing fruity beer. I like this one. I'm not huge into fruity beers, But this is actually one of the ones on the end that I like a lot more than a lot of others.
I don't want to listen to the
That's a good one.
fucking longest John's version.
All right.
I'll share it in Discord so you can listen to it after the podcast.
All right. Yeah, I'm interested in hearing that. I was on the spot too for a shanty. I can only think of Drunken Sailor.
I mean, to be fair, that's the other most popular one behind Low Men. Or maybe
That's
in front.
true.
Who knows?
Right.
Risky is the life of man. Risky, Johnny.
Whiskey, you're the devil, you're leading me astray. Over hills and mountains into America. You're sweeter, stronger, spunkier, you're decenter, norte. Whiskey, you're me darling, drunker, sober.
I spent all me money on whiskey and beer. It's a lot of whiskey in drinking. It's all
Weird.
Anywho,
as I was riding over.
Zelda arrived after a few days' travel because she could not read the map, and Tingle was dead so he could not decipher it. She got to Zora's domain first and asked for directions, and she could have got some help there. But Gorons are cooler, so I'm gonna do them first.
Haha. Innuendo. Question. How did Tingle die? I missed that part.
So
Give me the boost freaking.
it was
What the fuck did I miss?
so Tingle
You
died.
missed me skip these two areas, which was a pretty cool trick.
All right, I missed that. So let's drink to Kevin's speedrunning strats.
Yeah, pretty cool, right?
Yeah, but so
In the town
Tingle is
of-
dead now in the canonical universe of my fan fiction. Because if you missed it beforehand, right when Link was possessed by the Majora's Mask, he immediately did a skyward strike out the window for seemingly no reason, and it murdered Tingle.
Ah.
So yeah,
Also, you said mask. Well, that's not part of the story, so it didn't count.
Yeah, it's. Forget where I gotta be Santa Claus here.
she met a guard at the base of the mountain and presented a handwritten letter from herself, giving herself permission to ascend the mountain. When she got to the top, she remembered Darunio, in this time, had been dead for like 3 or 4 games, and
We're in
decided
the
to
town
see
of
if there was
Darunio right
another
now.
cool Goron to talk to, or if he could be resurrected like Ganon. That is funny that you're in the town of Darunio right
I'm
now.
in the mountain town of Darunia. as
Mountain
we're
town of
talking about this.
Darunio. Fuck yes. So,
Planned
if you
it.
didn't know, that's a little random fact of Zelda lore that
Yes.
all of the towns in Zelda 2 canonically are named after the 6 sages.
With one exception,
Yes.
Mido. There is the town of Mido,
Mido. Yes.
who is not a sage.
Mido is not a
Still,
sage.
the rest are.
But
Yeah,
using
so
the link
most of
page
them are
to-
canonically named after the sages, which is funny because actually they named the sage. Technically, they named the sages after the towns as far as development of the games goes, because obviously Ocarina of Time came after Zelda 2 by a fair
this is an
margin,
important
almost
game.
like actually 10 years almost.
This
huh?
is a big deal, this game.
You can go down that chimney.
So,
How did that
Yeah,
help?
you have to.
So Ocarina
Do you?
of Time would not happen
Yeah, you have
without
to get the
Zelda
spell
2.
here.
You're fucking welcome.
Well, they wouldn't have the names without Zelda 2, but that doesn't mean that Zelda 2 is good. Anyways, we're not here to debate whether or not Kevin is playing a shit game.
I cast Upstab. There we go.
Fuck yeah.
That's the spell we learn here.
Conveniently enough, Gorons have the ability to be stuck in masks when their ghosts are
Hey,
pissed
drink.
off for a long time and finally laid to rest. Let's drink because we said mask.
Also,
ripped our money
I
before.
groaned in pain from the ducal mask, so we gotta fucking drink again.
All right, we groaned. Yes.
We droned or groaned?
I groaned.
Yes.
My pain was verbal. Audible.
Did I already talk to
Get a
this?
subscription now at audible.com/CoverCam.
Oh, different
Just
guy.
kidding. I don't have an affiliate link.
Come back
Okay.
when you are ready.
Audible. If you want to sponsor me,
Interesting.
I'm always listening.
I need to learn more magic.
Get it? Audible will sponsor me.
Unfortunately, Darunia was eaten by the mighty dragon Volvagia, and he would not be satisfied until it was dead. Zelda tried the Song of Healing, but Darunia was too much of a man to put up with this music can heal your soul hippie voodoo witch doctor magic nonsense. Into the fire temple Zelda ran. In fact, she ran so quickly, she had left all her dough at home and could not purchase fireproof clothing. She skipped the whole cutscene with Sheik, which activated based on any character reaching that area, whether or not it technically copied the character in question, since they were the same character. Spoilers, totes sorry. And jumped down the hole. Narrowly escaping death by immolation, Zelda set her sights on the dragon. What was that?
2 questions.
Yeah.
For this. Where are we in relation to the end? Like, how many pages are left? Or
We are right about halfway.
Okay. I don't remember what my other question was, even though I just had it.
That means I have to drink.
You missed your opportunity to say your first question was A and your second question was 2. Because letters and numbers.
It's a fair response. Anywho, shall we go on?
Yes.
Luckily, it had redecorated the fire temple in the years gone by, removing all of the traps and replacing them with clay pots filled with random trinkets as door prizes for his guests. Zelda smashed open the pots to find spare change, arrows, bombs, and even a human heart.
I remember.
What? Go.
Sorry. Who's doing his job?
Oh, Crow was telling me to steal third base or something like that.
Yeah. I was telling you to run it. No. Why does this sound like just a dramatic retelling of fucking Zelda's Adventure for the Philips CDI?
Oh dear.
Did you play it before you wrote this or something?
I've never played the CDI games. I've always had a morbid curiosity, and I would love to play them, but I never have.
We're gonna play both of them on the live stream for the 80 relief.
I will definitely check that out.
Not both, I should say, but 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
I've even looked into emulators, and there's no good emulator for the CDI because I guess nobody gives a shit enough.
Yeah.
I will shoot you a link to a Discord after this that was referred to me for that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's like the redone version.
Yeah, they essentially just rebuilt them from the ground up. It's only the 2. They didn't do Zelda's Adventure, so good luck on that one.
Understandable. Oh, time to drink.
That's oddly enough. Okay, yep. There's a drink.
I don't know what to do here. I need
Double
to get
drink.
magic, and
But-
I don't know how.
No.
Yeah, Zelda's Adventure is the worst one of them.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted to play that one the most. Oddly,
There is a boss. All you do to beat it is you have to smack it consistently for it was either 2 or 5 minutes in a row. That's it. That's all you do. You just spam the button and smack it for literal minutes, endlessly.
I know there's another boss somewhere in the game that's it's immune to everything except for one weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't go out of your way randomly to find this one weapon, it's just invincible.
Yeah.
And it's because it's a totally, other than this boss, it's an optional weapon somewhere in the world. I remember reading that.
I wonder if that's a reference to the original Poe's voice that was immune to everything but voice.
Maybe, I don't know.
But you could get past Poe's voice without having to fight it.
You know what's an interesting random thing I know about Zelda's Adventure? Is that the director of the game had a bunch of aerial photographs that they took from the plane when they went on a vacation. They took a bunch of photographs of the ground. And those photographs are what make up the world map,
Yeah.
kind of spliced together.
Believe it.
And because they are high-resolution photographs, that is why it takes so fucking long to load screen to screen. Because it's like 5-10 seconds between every screen that you go to. Because it's just a super high-res photograph.
It's also why it's a top-down game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's the others that are side-scrollers?
Anywho.
Yes, please, carry on.
Zelda smashed the pots to find spare chains, arrows, bombs, and even a human heart. She equipped her only bow and entered the boss chamber, which had apparently been unlocked because it was an incredible pain in the ass to rule over a bunch of monsters in a temple from behind a door made of 40 tons of granite locked by a chain with links as thick as a human torso. It was just way inconvenient unlocking and relocking it every time. Who disturbs my lunch? Volvagia bellowed, swallowing a whole moldorm. I am Zelda, Zelda introduced herself. And I would like to introduce myself. I am the Princess of Hyrule, and I desperately need the aid of Darunia, for he is the only person I can think of powerful enough to beat the shit out of Link when he's taken over by an evil mask spirit. I said mask again.
Mask.
Okay. I'm gonna go start prepping food. I'm gonna take a drink with me so I can drink if something comes up. I have my wireless headphones on, so I will still be listening. I just will not be on camera.
Better
I thought you were
drink,
gonna say
man.
something like, I'm gonna go lie down.
Right.
There's too many masks.
It's not a bad idea.
I'm gonna go die of alcohol poisoning. I'll be listening. So.
I'm at a really bad, like, impasse at this game where, like, I don't have enough magic to learn this spell from this guy. So I just need to grind out. We'll get there.
On the other hand, this is like farther than most Zelda 2 runs I've ever done.
Alright. Yeah, like, I'm not, you know, in terms of speed running or whatever, like, I'm not doing well. But I don't care.
Speedrunners are
like,
crazy,
very
though, man.
inopportune times. Yeah, this game is like...
They're crazy in a great way.
Oh, this game is like the glass cannon of, like, Zelda speedruns also.
Uh-huh.
Like, you gotta, like, crush it.
So, Zelda just introduced herself as Zelda, which she introduced herself as. Princess of Hyrule, desperately the aid of Darunia, is the only person I can think of powerful enough to beat the shit out of Link, overtaken by the spirit. Unfortunately, I can only indirectly summon the abilities by fixing his soul to a mask after easing his ghost's peace of mind, I said mask again. That means I need to kill you. What a crappy story, a new voice sounded from behind Volvagia somewhere. It's full of plot holes, like how I am still alive. Darunia stepped into view. I chose my voice randomly because I didn't remember who this was, and now that it's Darunia, I'm like, that was a really not appropriate voice for Darunia.
That is okay.
Darunia!
You? Oh, shit. Wait,
I'll
that's
drink
him.
for using the wrong voice, apparently. Darunia, the ancient sage of fire, but how? Me and old Volvagia resolved our differences and started renovating this old temple. It was really a dangerous place to have dinner guests, so we fixed it up, and now we have parties here all the time. Why does no Hylian know of this? Obviously, because the king is a dick and never responds and probably made a rumor that I was dead. I sent him a birthday card every year, you know, and he never even once said thank you. Father has never spoken of this. This is quite odd, and I apologize in his stead. For Hyrule needs your help. Well, I'm always willing to smash some asshole, if you know what I mean. Sex? What? The hell, man? No, I mean assholes, like douche nozzles, not... You're gross, dude. Oh, nothing. Anyway, that should work, since I think the mask will break if you just hit Link in the face with your hammer.
Oh, mask.
Mask. Crow, you better be drinking. That would be a great idea. Oh, no, wait, hold on. Which voice am I doing? I'm doing the wrong voice. Yep. Because Zelda just told him to hit him in the face with the hammer. That would be a great idea, but I gave my hammer to a different Link like 3 incarnations ago, I think. Depends on which timeline we're in. Okay, well, how do you find it? Do you have Megaton Hammer registered in the Hyrule Compendium? We can track it on your Sheikah slate. Sounds perfect. Zelda whipped out her slate, which inexplicably didn't come up until now, and would totally have helped if she had just marked Goron City with a pin a while back, so she didn't have to waste several days traveling aimlessly. What a blonde, huh?
Oh, this aging on this.
I think that counts as a groan, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Does it count if I groan? What a...
Yeah, it does, because I did too. Grumble, grumble, am I right?
Grumble, grumble indeed. That was such the weirdest puzzle the first time. Because I'm just like, what? What do you want, Moblin?
I missed out on Zelda, like OG Zelda, until I was like 3 years ago age.
Okay.
Like I had never played it, and then I finally,
played it
I
in
liked the game
like
a lot.
Right. I played it in like
Yeah,
high
but-
school sometime, but I tried to do it mostly without a guide. But then it was like super hard just to find dungeons, so I started using a guide just to find the dungeons, and then I do the dungeons myself. But I remember a handful of puzzles that I was just like, what the fuck is going on here? And that was one of them that I was just like, what does grumble grumble
What does
mean?
grumble grumble mean? Yeah.
I was like, what
Like,
do
is
I
he mad at
do?
you? Do you shoot fire at him?
Right? Yeah, I'm like, what are you grumbling about, man?
You feed him the bait,
Yeah,
the moblin bait.
yeah, I never,
It's like a turkey leg or something.
I might have tried that at some point if that was a game I played at the time, but yeah. I was too young to play it at the time because, you know, I was -4 when that game came out.
Yeah, I was too young to play it.
Actually, what was it? 86? -5.
I think it was.
Or was it 85? 85, 86. I forget. Anywho. What a blonde, huh?
What a blonde.
What a stupid-ass joke. I'm amazing. The two traveled in search of Darunia's old hammer and met Link on the way. They said hello, but did not have much time to chit-chat as they had to find the hammer to kill the mask, and the mask did not have time because he was hard at work trying to figure out what the prophecy was telling him to revive Ganon, and that was proving difficult since he was the only guy who relayed the prophecy to anybody that was anywhere to be found was Tingle's corpse. That was a big-ass run-on sentence.
Run-on sentence.
Yeah, what did I just do that? I did say
double...
mask twice, so we will... But I'm going to go over that sentence again so I can figure out what the fuck I just said.
Maybe throw a period or two in there, or 4.
I might, yeah. So, okay, so to go over that sentence, we don't have to drink for mask if I'm restating the sentence to figure out what I just said, right? Okay.
I've kept that as like a house rule.
Okay, so the two traveled on in search of Darunia's old hammer and met Link on the way. They said hello, but did not have much time to chit-chat as they had to find the hammer to kill the mask, and the mask did not have time because he was hard at work trying to figure out what the prophecy was telling him to do to revive Ganon, and that was proving difficult since the only guy who relayed the prophecy to anybody that was any bear to be found was Tingle's corpse. Okay, that is a ridiculous-ass run-on sentence. So,
I think I'm getting it, though.
yeah, okay, so, after a review, I believe that the mask is looking for Tingle's corpse, who is, for some reason, the only person who knows about the plot to revive Ganon with the power of Majora's Mask. Is that what you're picking up?
That's what I'm picking up.
Okay. He remembered Tingle heard it from the Happy Mask salesman, but where would he be at a time like this? So I said Happy Mask salesman. Does that count as saying mask?
Yeah.
Okay.
We accept those here.
Zelda and Darunia stopped at the bar for a beer real quick. I'm gonna drink to that. Zelda and Darunia stopped at the bar for a drink real quick, and the king was there. And he didn't say anything to Darunia, and Darunia didn't say anything to him. It was way awkward. While they were drinking, the Sheikah sensor chirped. Zelda looked down at the slate, but it was just the default notification noise, and she had been tagged in a Facebook post by Link saying, Destroying Hyrule tomorrow. Zelda is too late. What crappy luck for her, huh? My writing is so dumb that sometimes I'm just like, I am so hyped for my own stupidity.
This does hold up quite well, I think. I'm enjoying it.
All right. I'm glad to know.
This is supposed to be a punishment, but I'm having fun.
Fuck yeah, I'll drink to fun. Wait, tomorrow? Had she really wasted that much time, or did the mask find a way to resurrect Ganon faster? I guess we'll never know. I said mask, so let's drink.
Ah, yes. Drink.
The next day, Darunia and Zelda approached the site where Ganon was to be resurrected, which they were aware of for some reason that was badly described in a footnote to the fourth appendix in the instruction manual.
Oh dear.
Link and the mask stared them down. I said mask.
Oh,
Hey, Link's voice came muffled from behind the mask. Darunia says, I said mask. Oh, fuck.
Put this tech dance. Here we go.
Darunia no long... there. Fuck. Sorry. I'm stumbling over my words, so I have to...
Sorry, Darunia. This would have been really interesting to do as a, like a play.
Right?
Where, like, Crow and I were, like, other characters.
Look out for that on a future... Drink to the past.
We'll do like the director's cut edition of this. Complete with mask drinking.
Darunia, long time no see. Hey, I got this hammer from you in a past life, but I haven't used it in a while. You can have it back now. Link tossed the megaton hammer to Darunia, who caught it in one hand. Brother, Darunia inquired confusedly. I have literally never heard you speak before. Why now? Oh, I can't speak in cutscenes. We're in combat now, so it's cool. Why are we in combat? Darunia charged the mask, and smashed it as hard as he could, with a massive swing of his muscular arm. It shattered into 1,645,907 pieces. And Link's head exploded behind it. Like, stupidly gory exploded, like it gibbed. Just his head, but there was somehow enough guts and blood and stuff that you were pretty sure you could reconstruct a whole person with it. That's impressive. I'm not even mad, bro. Well, Darunia said, that was an unforeseen shit stain on your plan. You implied that he would somehow be okay when I hit him as hard as I could. Yeah, Zelda said hesitantly, a little grossed out by the head explosion. I'm gonna drink because I made up a word.
Headsplosion? That's gotta be in the Doom game somewhere.
Headsplosion? Probably, right?
Or Halo. Headsplosion.
Yeah. Headsplosion.
Todd, the leader. Lost it.
Killtacular 6.
I missed the old Halo.
That was the greatest.
That's your guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's still like the same guy, but it just had some more, like...
They put like some filters over him.
Yeah, something was like more powerful about it. In like the very original Halo. I remember actually Killtacular
very, like,
6, we didn't even, like, we'd never heard of, like, nobody, who gets a multi-kill up to, a 6-kill multi-kill, right, is what you get for Killtacular 6. And we had no idea. We just, like, lined up 6 people in a row in a multiplayer, like, system link game
or whatever.
And had the other guy shoot them all in a line with the sniper rifle just to see if it would go through 6 people. And we lined up all our guys just perfectly and shot through them. And it's like, Killtacular 6. And it was so fucking wild.
Did they add the 6 at the end of it, too?
Yeah, in the original Halo, it was Killtacular 6. It was so fucking great. It was just like,
awesome.
Oh my god. Yeah.
System Link Halo. What a time.
It was great. There was no Xbox Live back then.
Nah.
Anywho.
You are a hero for saving a child. Come.
You save a child?
I did, yeah. I held that kid over my head.
Let's drink.
I'm just trying to learn this spell. I want to learn the reflect spell. But this guy told me I needed to come back when I was ready.
You got enough magic?
Let's see. Come back when you are ready.
Damn.
I guess I needed to level up my sword.
That's
I don't
annoying.
know.
Yeah, it's not like the original one where it's just like, you have enough heart containers, you're good, right?
Yeah, I kind of want to like take a peek at the internet here.
Well, we got like 2 paragraphs left, so I'm wondering when Crow will come back. So I'm like, because like, should we end it without Crow?
Like magic? I don't want it with Crow. Without Crow, rather. I don't want to end it with Crow. Finish it quick.
Play another bagpipe tune while we're waiting for Crow. You got any requests?
Careless Whisper by George Michael.
Does it have that note in it?
What? I didn't hear it, so probably.
Okay, yeah, alright. Then I just played it. I'm amazing. Something like that, right?
Yeah, something close. I think I need to get a magic container, and I feel like I'd probably get it before I would go here, but I'm missing one. I just went the wrong way like a fool.
Yeah.
Let's see. There used to pretty well versed in this game.
Times. You made me drink 11 times while I was down there.
In case it comes up, it is hard as fuck to circular breathe while you're laughing, apparently.
Well, I'm sorry. It's hard as fuck to make a fucking salad and protein shake and prep food to bake while you're pounding away a fucking beer.
You made a shake out of salad and protein?
No, I made a salad and a protein shake.
Salad and a protein shake, not a salad and protein shake.
It's dressing.
Okay. That makes more sense. I was like, what the fuck, Crow? What do you eat, man?
Alright, there we go. We got the magic food, right?
I ate a lot of food. I have to consume 4,000 calories a day because I have more metabolism than any one fucking village could ever need.
Nice. So, anywho, if you were following along with the fanfiction, Darunia just, like, smacked Link in the face and fucking gibbed his head.
Doomed him.
Boom. Yeah, I was listening.
Well, Darunia said, that was an unforeseen shit stain on your plan. You implied that he would somehow be okay when I hit him as hard as I could. Yeah, Zelda said hesitantly, a little grossed out by the head explosion. Well, I was going to cast Nairu's love on him, but you rolled ahead of me in the initiative order. Dungeons and Dragons.
Alright, yeah.
Nice way to go out.
Made it in there.
Darunia and Zelda laughed because they knew there was no continuity between episodes of fanfiction and that Link would probably be fine by the next time it mattered. And that's the end of my fanfiction.
The end.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just bowed, but I took my hat off so you couldn't see that I bowed because I was behind my hat.
Shame. That wasn't bad. I was expecting it to be a lot worse.
I thought that was really fun.
Cool. I'm glad
You
we
didn't
had a
say
good
mask
time.
enough, though.
I'll say it again. Math. No. Does that count?
I'm eating.
Yes, it does.
Counts for at least the next however much is left in this beer. A little less than half, I think.
It's enough excuse to finish our drinks.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a fun-ass thing. What did we just do?
Look, man, I don't remember, like, 90%
Played
of
Zelda
that.
2.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember more of the playthrough than I do of the
But
story.
Zelda herself said it. This is the best fan fiction ever because it killed off Tingle. Fuck yeah.
It's true. So
That's
it's
right.
canon.
Like, how could you get in a better fan fiction than that? Like, sorry, Dave, but you didn't kill off Tingle, did you?
As far as I know, no.
Yeah. I haven't read all of
Dave-
Dave's stuff.
Dave
I've
Knight.
I've skimmed through bits and pieces, and I'm like trying to like give myself a general idea. Because actually, another thing that I'd like to plug, as long as we're here, is that we're coming up. I'm actually helping Dave on a version of his fan fiction, The Era Without a Hero. If you are not aware, I'm helping him out doing an audio version of The Era Without a Hero,
Oh, nice.
as well as our good buddy Taylor Wells, and so, and somebody else. I'm trying to remember who
Me.
else it was. Is it Crow?
Huh?
What?
What?
Is it Kevin? Who said
It's
me?
not me, but I'll do it. I said me, but...
Okay, you said you. I was like, it's not one of you guys, is it?
No, it's
No.
not. It's not.
I was like,
Wait,
was I paying attention?
I do want to say, I think you got your Dave's crossed before. Your Lasbies and your Nyströms.
I said Nystrom, didn't I? Did
You
I
said
say
Lasby.
Lasby?
But they're both good Daves.
I didn't mean to say Lasby,
Both
but
of
he's a
them are
cool
good
guy too.
people. Yeah, they are good
Yeah.
people.
So follow all
They're
of
good-
the
they're
Daves
good
on
Zelda
Twitter.
people.
Just look
Yes.
up Dave, any Dave in the
If they have
whole
Dave in
world,
the name, follow
and
him.
they're probably a good guy, unless they're a dick. And that brings us to our final segment of the podcast, where we talk about inane bullshit until somebody says something really awkward and I cut off the podcast. So, what shall we talk about? Oh, we didn't do what you playing this week, so we could do what you playing. So this week, I think I vaguely mentioned it before, but I just beat River City Girls on co-op with my brother earlier this week, and that was really cool. I think it's a super awesome co-op like beat 'em up, and that's just not something we get all the time. So I was super happy with how that game ended up turning out. So yeah, if you like beat 'em ups, definitely check out that. Also, I rolled credits on Hellblade again, because
Nice.
Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice came with, they got a new patch for the Series X/S, so it runs like with upgraded visuals and all that on the new Xbox, if you've got that, and it's on Game Pass. So if you're on Game Pass and you got the Xbox and whatever, then absolutely fucking check this out. It is like just one of the most phenomenal games of the last generation of gaming. It's
Wow.
like I kind of didn't see this game coming, really, because like it was on my radar and I was like, yeah, it sounds kind of neat, and I checked it out when I first subscribed to Game Pass on my PC, and it ran like shit because my PC could not keep up with it. But I was like, okay, this is like such a great game, and I ended up like actually upgrading my PC just to finish this game. I had to get a new graphics card because in just the regular version, I ended up like I was in the final boss fight, and the first time I went into the final boss fight, the game crashed, and the second time I went into the final boss fight, the game crashed, and my PC crashed, and I was like, oh fuck, okay, it's telling me something is due for a change. So I upgraded my graphics card, and then it was okay, and I got through it, and it was fine. But yeah, if you have not played Hellblade, it is, in my opinion, the most immersive game of all time. It is so fucking great, and like it kind of expands the idea of what a video game can be to me, insofar as it makes it like it's still a game at the end of the day, but it's also, in addition to that, a medium through which mentally healthy people can get a glimpse into what it is like to have a mental illness. And that, I think, is a very important thing to emphasize. Just in our culture, mental illness is a big fucking problem. And if we can understand it more, to any extent, in any way, I think that's a good thing. And there is nothing that has given me more of a look into what it is like to be mentally ill than this game. And it's like, it's fantastically designed in every aspect of it. And especially with the new Xbox upgrades, it is not just the most immersive game I've ever played, but it is also among the best looking games I've ever played. It looks fucking great on Xbox, and I'm just running on Series S. I don't even have a Series X, right? I'm on the cheap hardware, and it's one of the best looking games I've ever played. It puts most of my PS5 library to shame. It is, like, the lighting in this game is insane. It is so good. So definitely check out that. I also have briefly played some Skyward Sword HD. I've been kind of chugging along through that. And,
where are you on that?
I just beat... what did I just do? Last time I played... Let's see. I got through, I think, 3 dungeons. Let's see. Who's the third boss? Let's see. I beat Moldarok. Did I beat the third boss? I just
Moldarok
beat...
is the third boss.
I thought Moldarok was the second boss. Maybe he is the third.
No, it's
So
you beat Girahim at the Skyview Temple,
Right.
and then you face off with Scaldera,
Yes, okay.
the Fire Sanctuary, and then you take on
And then Moldarok, okay.
Big Bad Moldarak, yeah, and then
Yeah.
you fight Moldarak again.
Yeah, he comes up again
Just,
later. I remember that.
Why not?
Which was a super awesome surprise, I thought, when he came up.
I think it's cheap.
The second time, because like you're just kind of exploring the ruins and you're not expecting anything, and you're like, "What the fuck, Moldarok's here?" it's
Yeah, I think
insane.
It's a little cheap that they like
what?
copy paste him in there. I don't know.
I don't know. I
That's
hear
me.
that argument a lot, but I'm just like, I don't know. To me,
I'm
I thought
always
he was
there to
just
make
one of
that
the coolest
argument.
designed bosses as well, and I think it was like just kind of, it was very unexpected to see him again. So I was happy with it, with the way that it ended up.
Have you been to the Ancient Cistern?
I haven't been there yet, so I think I'm on my way there because
I think
that's the next
you're on
dungeon,
your
right?
way there,
Because
yeah.
I've beat the first battle with not
Big
the
scary
mice,
eel
what's his-
boy?
Avocado man.
The Imprisoned.
Imprisoned. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. So I have to drink because I couldn't remember his name. But yeah, I beat the first imprisoned boss fight, which is funny because I actually I saw a video that was like completely circumventing the thing where you cut off his toes, where you just kind of go above him and jump on top of his head, and if you
Yeah,
just
that's
pound
what I
the
did.
spike into his
You just-
head, you can do it.
and he's
And I was
gone.
like, I think I did that maybe once in my original playthrough because it felt
cheesy.
familiar to do. But I'm
did
like,
that.
I don't think it was my primary strategy because I remember having so much like annoyance from, especially on the third fight with him, where it's just like every time he steps, there's this big electric field
Yeah,
that
and
you have
get
to like,
stomped.
yeah, you have to like dodge between that and still cut off his toes somehow, which is like it's just it's not a good mechanic. It's a bad
hard.
boss
You have
fight.
to, like, run in,
It's like
spin,
the first
and then
time,
run out.
it's not a great boss fight, and by the time you've done it for the third time, it's fucking boring as balls. But it's also more hard, which doesn't really make it more interesting though. Because sometimes if you have a similar boss and you make it more hard, okay, that could be interesting. Like for example,
Yeah.
Zelda 1. You fight Gleeok the first time, he's got 2 heads.
Yeah, and then
Later, you fight him with 3 head and 4 heads. That's more interesting. You fight the Imprisoned, and he doesn't
Or
have
the
the electric
Wizrobe.
fields the first time. It's not a great boss fight. And you
Yeah.
give him the electric fields on his steps the second and third time, then it's just fucking annoying. It's so
Yeah.
fucking stupid. I'm
I-
just like,
I've
hate it.
I've been playing Skyward Sword and I've been enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the last time I did play it was on the Wii.
Yeah,
Eons ago at this
Yeah.
point.
that's kind of the
But-
same way I am.
Like, still, my argument for it is that Skyward Sword was supposed to be like a cutting-edge Zelda. New tech, new gameplay, new everything. And the temples were supposed to be part of the overworld. You could visit them and do other things in them. So they sort of do with Skyview.
Right.
But the bosses of that game are just like... So, your first boss that you fight in the temple is Girahim, who's a recurring character. I don't know why it couldn't have been someone else in addition to Girahim.
Yeah.
You fight Moldarak twice. And you fight Servo twice.
Mm-hmm.
And you fight the Imprisoned 3 separate times. So the uniqueness of bosses and even enemies at that point
Yeah.
are kind of just like recycled a bit. And I remember playing it like the first time through and was like, alright, like this kind of stinks. Like, I just fought Moldarak, like, maybe like an hour ago. Like, why am I fighting him again? In this
Right.
grandiose, epic Zelda to beat all Zeldas, Now, that might have been because it was brand new at the time. And I was like, man, I was kind of expecting, like, Golma with the first dungeon. Instead, I
Right.
got this, like, weird dude with a tongue that I fight, like, 4 more times.
Right, yeah.
I remember being, like, very salty over that. way back in the day, and I still am kind of like, come on, dudes! Like, you
Yeah.
couldn't come up with like another guy, just like this big, give the big green chew or something like that to fight
Right.
Skyview. Why not?
I am also having fun with Skyward Sword HD. I'm not like shitting on it or anything. Like it's still a good game, but I definitely agree with you, especially in the boss battles. The boss battles are the easiest and the least interesting boss battles in any Zelda game, in my opinion. I would go as far as to say that. Like, Moldarok is the standout for me, and it's just a fucking giant scorpion. That's all he is.
Wait till we get to the Ancient Cistern. That's pretty fun.
I mean, I like that dungeon as well. I don't know. I didn't like the swimming mechanic all that much. It was neat. And then when you get the whip, it's like, okay, that's some kind of neat stuff. But I also really don't understand why people like the boss of that dungeon as much. What's his name?
This is cool.
Kalactos, yeah. It's
He's
like,
cool.
he's a neat design, but, like, people flip their shit over him. And I'm just like,
People think Kalactos is
Why?
like the greatest Zelda boss. In,
Yeah, I'm like,
all of Zelda.
he's maybe in the top handful of Skyward Sword bosses, but, like, ranked against any boss in Ocarina of Time, I would say he's below all of them. Literally everyone.
I might make a Zelda boss tier list one of these days. I'm obviously I don't think he's the best Zelda boss ever, but I like Kalactus. He's my favorite boss fight out of all of the boss fights in Skyward Sword. He's unique.
Tentalis.
He's interesting.
I just played beat Tentalis. Tentalis is fun.
Which one?
I fucking hate that
Monsters,
boss.
Monsters Inc. Cthulhu.
Oh,
creature.
yeah.
He's
He's
so
the-
stupid.
Big eyeball.
I hate it. I hate it so much. Like,
No, I thought it
the
was
minute
great.
you see it, you know how to kill it. And that's all it is.
Oh yeah, come on! Like, of course, you're given the bow. Like, it's such
Right?
a hokey
You're
Zelda
like-
boss, but it's fun.
It's an eyeball. I guess I kill it by
Like-
shooting the eye. And it
It's like
it pisses
Medusa
me
on a
off.
boat.
I think it pisses me off more, not
Cool.
because it's not, like, I don't think it's a great boss fight, but I think it's worse because, first off, I just don't like the design. I don't think it looks cool. I don't think it looks epic, but the dungeon that it is in, the sand ship, is the
It's pretty
most
cool.
epic dungeon in that game by a long shot. It is so fucking cool. Every little
I
thing
do
you're
like the
doing.
Ancient Cistern a little bit more, but I like the death
Very intuitive.
horror
But
graveyard.
I don't know.
stuff
For me,
going on.
the puzzles are so much cooler because you got the time shift stones in every little puzzle, going back and forth and turning them on and off and
a
all
very
that, and
intuitive
carrying around the time shift stones in different areas is so cool. And then, like, just the idea
Leave
of the
the
time
boat
shift
at the bottom,
stones
I'll say
in
that.
the
Leave the boat at
sea
the bottom.
that is now turned into sand is cool. Like, just going to
It
the
is pretty
dungeon
neat.
is so cool, where you're like in the ship with the stone and it makes it see around you even though you're sailing through the desert. That's so cool. And then
Yeah.
you fight a goddamn pirate robot,
Yes.
Fire robot.
and he's so fucking cool. Servo is cooler than
He's-
every boss in that game, and it is a fucking crime that he is delegated to the mini boss position. I'm like,
yeah, but
I
you know
would
what? Not
rather
only that, he plays-
fight him than every other boss in this game. He's so fucking
So-
cool.
He plays double duty too. He shows up in Sky Keep too.
Yeah.
So let me
He comes back for revenge.
I need to refill this. I'll be right back.
go for it. I'll say my piece while you do that. With the note of Servo, I do agree. He deserves boss status. He should not be relegated.
Fuck yeah, man.
I still think Kalactus is my favorite boss for Skyward Sword. Reason being, he's, in essence, he is that game's boss version of an Iron Knuckle. He is a boss who is designed to lumber around the arena, and you provoke him into attack to create openings with your whip, and also his engagement with the environment, destroying pillars, generates hearts, which will keep you alive. So you are rewarded for generating aggro from the boss.
I think part of my problem with that is, like, that's a cool idea. But that same idea was done by the Darknuts in Wind Waker.
Yeah.
And you fought so many Darknuts in Wind Waker that by the end of the game, you were fighting, 4 or 5, 6 of them at once? Something like that? In the big-ass gauntlet dungeon for one of the Triforce shards?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's like, at that point, it's like, okay, I already fought 4 of these at once. Like, what is this guy bringing that's new? And it's like not really anything.
He's not a particularly hard boss. He's got a wide, like, area of attack, which is different. But he's not a particularly new thing. The thing is, he's similar but different, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, he's similar mechanics, similar playstyle, but he does it a different way. He makes use of the whip, which is just stupid fun. I mean, it's a fucking whip.
It's a cool item. I actually like its utility in Skyward Sword. I think the whip is a very well utilized item because you get a lot of different uses out of it. You get, like, the ripping off his arms. You get the swinging back and forth on different things. And it's an item that I think they utilize well in Skyward Sword.
The whip is
I wanted to use the whip more. I wanted to be Simon Belmont.
Yes. The whip is basically the grappling hook of Skyward Sword. It just didn't get as much attention as it needed.
I think what happens is you get it at a point where it's a lot later in the game, and it seems like a lot of the, like, I feel like there's not a lot of overworld use for the whip.
Yeah,
I feel like the whip could have been an item that you got in Skybiome, and it would have helped you with like the first item. Forget about the scatter shot or the
beetle
slingshot or the beetle. Use the whip to, like,
beetle
whip
was
out
cool. I actually really like the beetle.
Pull levers down and stuff. It would have been pretty sweet.
I just wish that they had.
I like the beetle though. The beetle's cool. You get to see like in the nooks and crannies and stuff of the dungeon.
I like just like a lot of times I feel like it's almost encouraged at certain points to just like, I can't tell exactly how to get to the next area or where to go next. I'm gonna just like look around with the beetle because the beetle can go places I can't, and I thought that was a really neat mechanic.
Yeah, I think the whip would have been very useful if they'd used it more for traversal. Just like have branches, like fucking Wind Waker. You know, just have branches sticking out. Like, hey, I can whip across this and move on. Like they could have.
Yeah, or to like pull like platforms or something like that. Or...
Yeah, like it could have had so much.
It gets overshadowed really quickly by the claw shot. I think that's the issue with it. It's ironic because Skyward Sword does a good job of keeping your ranged weapons spaced out pretty evenly. Whereas in Twilight Princess, which came right before it, which I think kind of skews people's memory of the weapons and items that you get, is in Twilight Princess, you get the slingshot. Like almost immediately, not almost immediately, but very early in the game.
Yeah.
And then what do you get right after that? You get the bow.
Boomerang!
Well, you get the boomerang, but the bow comes pretty early.
Yeah.
So your slingshot is outclassed pretty early in the game.
Yeah, because literally
your slingshot's very important, I think.
Okay, I haven't gone through it fully in long enough to really see that, but I'll think about that as I'm going through. Because again, I also haven't got the bow yet, and I'm like 3 dungeons in, right? So that kind of speaks to that kind of staggering of the items that you're talking about. At least that.
Like, but some games can do that really well too. Like look at Majora's Mask. That game gives you the bow in the first temple.
Right.
And you never feel like under or overpowered with it.
I think the weird thing about
like a key. It's like a key item for every dungeon because you get new arrows in each dungeon. So that's like the difference.
I think the weird thing that kind of separates it for the particularly for the whip versus the claw shot in Skyward Sword is it's a weird thing because I feel like they kind of wanted to take the whip because the first game where they gave you the whip was Phantom Hourglass, and they wanted to kind of give you that idea, but in Phantom Hourglass it had different utility. You could put it between two ropes, and you could tightrope or between two posts, and you could tightrope across it.
Yeah,
So it was a
that
different
would've been
traversal tool from
great
that.
for Skyward Sword.
Yeah,
I
stuff
would've
like
loved
that would have been really cool. Or like the others, and there was a handful of different applications for it, like where you were like putting it between two posts, and then you could like slingshot stuff,
Yeah.
like or like
the
bounce
gust
back.
jar and the Minish Cap.
Yeah.
Which
I
you
thought
also- you get
actually-
the Gust Bellows too. That
Yeah,
would've
I
been
thought the
so
Gust Bellows
cool.
was a really cool idea coming from Minish Cap. It basically like
Yeah.
took that item and translated it into 3D in a way that kind of made sense. So I was totally on board with the Gust Bellows, but the whip I don't think translate as well because you're like, I got the claw shot now. It's just the whip but better.
I think it would have been better if they had gone the Wind Waker route of give us the whip early on. Like you were saying, give us it like Dungeon
Dragon
1,
Roost,
Dungeon 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have that for a while, and then have the, hook shot to, or grappling hook to hook shot, whip to claw shot transition towards the end, where we upgrade, like, okay, now I can go back and explore these other areas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like a trade-off between like your range primary weapon, which is like the slingshot to the
basically just an
bow.
upgrade. Yeah.
Yeah, like I do like the whip. I think it's cool, but I'm a
Yeah.
huge Castlevania fan, so it's like I always wanted
right.
the whip to be more
The,
prevalent.
Yeah.
But I think that's just me.
The main point that I was making, the reason why I like Colossus, relatively unique boss design. He's someone that you don't have to go all the way through the motions to fight. Like, you don't have to get rid of every single arm. You can just trash one arm, get the sword, call it good. And then the swords, you get to use a giant fucking sword and just baseball beat the shit out of it.
Again,
The
it
big
was
sword
like
is
it's
where
a
it's
thing
like, I
that I
thought it
feel
was
like
cool.
this was neat, but they did it in Wind Waker 2 games ago, right? 2 mainline games
Sort
ago.
of, yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
Okay.
Wind Waker came out
John?
almost 10 years before this, and I'm like, but I was fighting 4 Dark Nuts at once, 6 Dark Nuts at once, instead of 1 Kalakthos.
John?
Yeah.
I see your point. I accept your point. But also, pretty much everything in most Zelda games at this point have been recycled. There's only so much that they can do with a lot of the Zelda games.
I think
Like,
personally
Breath
I'm
of
a
the Wild
little
aside.
salty about because like literally the moment Morrowind came out, I was like, they need to make a Zelda game like this. A big ass open world Zelda game. And then they made Twilight Princess, and considering where it came from, Twilight Princess was like a step in that direction from Ocarina of Time. Like, technically Wind Waker had a bigger world, but it was like, it didn't like always feel as open. Sometimes it did,
So-
but it was also a lot emptier. But it's still a good world. I like Wind Waker's world. And then I was like, okay, with Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, the next obvious step is to have a big ass open world Zelda game. And then
On a
they gave me
train.
literally the most linear game experience you could
It is
ever
very linear,
possibly
yeah.
have.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, the
I
world is open as the
struggled
sky, too,
to
which is
think of a game
interesting.
more linear. Yeah, and because that's a big thing. Like, you could have like had the overworld be an overworld, and then you can just get on the bird and fly wherever the fuck you
Yeah.
want, right? That's what they
It's
could have
funny.
done, and kept the concept the same. And it
Yeah.
would have been, in my opinion, so much better because one of the biggest core things that makes a Zelda game to me is exploring the world.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
that was
it didn't feel as good in Skyward Sword as literally any other Zelda game.
Yeah, like if I guided you through like the first 3 areas and you were like, she was like, you gotta hit these 3 things in this area because you gotta get the tablets or whatever that like open up the game. And then it would like, you did those 3 things and she was like, all right, open season, just go wherever you want. Get those flames. Go to whichever area you
That
want
would
to
have
go.
been great.
And it's like, all right, I got the bow first because I went to the sand ship. Like, great,
Right.
cool. But then, like, maybe because you went to that area that was a little bit harder, it rewarded you because now you have the bow, which is a really great ranged weapon
Yeah.
to deal with, like, sniping guys out in the Elden volcano.
hmm
Like, there's no real repercussion to, like, having, like, been able to do those out of order.
Yeah.
But instead, you're guided on that order. It's so
Even if
as
it was the
someone
same
who's, like,
overworld, but you could have gone in any order you wanted, I think
Yeah,
that
bingo.
would have made it like feel a lot
some
more
choice there.
open. Because that's one of the things
I
that I
love
love
that, 'cause
about
that's
Ocarina of
classic
Time.
Zelda.
Because
Or
even
Link to
though
the Past does that.
technically there's a correct way to go through the dungeons in Ocarina of Time.
Nah, just go to the fire temple right away.
Yeah, once you get to Adult Link,
Or
you
the
can go
ice
to the
cavern.
Fire Temple. Yeah, or the Ice Cavern. You can go.
Yeah.
There are so many potential orders, and even the
It's-
things that you can't do, they feel like you can almost get there, right?
Yep.
Because you can go to Gerudo Valley and get through, and you can get to the Spirit Temple right away, even though you can't complete it because you don't have particular items. You can get to the Spirit Temple right away.
Yeah.
And even as Kid Link, before you go there, right? After you get out of Kokiri Forest, you can go to the Gerudo Valley. You can go to Hyrule Castle
Go
Town,
to Zora's Domain.
Zora's Domain. Yeah, wherever. You can't technically get to Zora's Domain because you don't have bombs yet. But, like, you can get to Zora's
just walk
River,
in there, yeah.
right? Yeah. So you can get to the entrance, even though that particular one is railroaded off, where it's like, you can't go here until you have bombs, right? It doesn't feel like you're railroaded
That's
because
what
you
Link to the
have
Past
so
does.
many ways that you can almost go, or that you can go a little bit of them. And Skyward Sword, it's like, no, this
No,
is
you
the
go to the
right way.
Green area, you go to the blue one.
If
and then
you
go
try to
the-
go anywhere else, fuck you. Go to the right
Yeah.
way.
Oh, thanks.
I want to hear what Crow has to say really badly.
I did. So, I didn't learn. For reference, I'm 25. I didn't learn until I was 23 that the correct order for the dungeons was Shadow Temple, then Spirit Temple for Ocarina.
You know
All my
what?
life.
That's okay.
Yeah,
I
I know a lot of people that are kind of like on that spectrum. Like as a kid,
Like-
me and my best friend would talk about it, and I would be like, "Oh yeah,
Get the
I
hang of
always
this
did the
stuff."
Shadow Temple
No, I'm
and the
not.
Spirit Temple, and he always did the Spirit Temple and the Shadow Temple." But
Yeah,
there's
know.
there's other dungeons you can do out of order too. Like obviously,
Yeah.
like we were saying, the Fire Temple you can do first instead of the
Yeah.
Forest Temple, where the Forest Temple is the correct way to do it. But
Sure.
Yeah.
actually, in
I
most
think the
runs
best-
now, because
You go
I
to
know
Ice
that
Cavern
that's
first.
the correct way to do it, most of the time when I casually run this game, I'm like, I'm going to the Fire Temple first because I
Yeah.
can. All right.
It's really cool. Like
Yeah.
once you get the arrows in Majora's Mask, you're free to go anywhere. So like you can go to Woodfall. This is like the top any percent speedrun does this too. You go to Woodfall, you get the bow, and then you just peace out of there, and you haul ass to Snowhead. Because it's quicker for you to do all that and then get the hook shot so you can beat Woodfall quicker and
Huh.
skip a lot of things. You get fire arrows and you light that torch that does the spinning thing in that room, and you just like hook shot around. You
I know the
kill
torch you're talking about exactly, but I
Yes.
never would have thought of that exactly because of that.
Just get a
yeah.
fire arrow. Why
I've
not?
only ever done it.
I don't
in
think
order.
about Majora's Mask. Actually, Majora's Mask is also in my bottom tier of Zelda game. Like I like it. It's again, I love every Zelda game, but it's like in my bottom tier of Zelda games personal ranking. So I'm like,
That's
that's something I
understandable.
might
It's
not
okay.
have thought of. Mostly it's the
yeah,
time
you can
mechanic
do it,
because
but-
every time you save, it feels to me like you're losing progress, even though you're
Yes.
not technically losing progress. It just feels like that, and I don't
Yeah.
like the restarting every time. I don't like the rewind
You're so
mechanic.
committed in Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
It's like you hit the temple and you're in there and you did all that. Because that's the thing about Majora's Mask. And Ocarina of Time does it a little bit, but like to a less extent. You do a lot of stuff before the temple. And that's a lot of like what Majora's Mask is. You have to do certain things before you get to those temples, which acts like a lot of the older Zelda games where you had to do like a couple of things in between the dungeon and like the next dungeon. So it's like you beat a dungeon, you have to start doing a couple of like side things before you can get to that next dungeon. I think Majora's Mask does that pretty well. There's a lot of like random weird things that you need to get to beat Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
But I think I like that stuff because you kind of have to like, you don't just like beat the temple, go to the next temple, beat the temple, go to the next temple. Like, you have to go get your orbs.
I think I would really appreciate this if it wasn't for the time reversal mechanic and the whole 3-day system, which for what it is, I think the 3-day system is a double-edged sword, because for what it does for side quests and for world building, I think it is fucking fantastic.
It kills the dungeon aspect.
But that's the big problem, especially because when I go into a big dungeon, I'm just like, I want to take my time. I want to get every fucking fairy the first time, instead of like, oh, it's a fairy, but I feel like the mentality is the first time you have to skip the fairies and then come back for them. And I'm like, I don't want that. If I'm going to 100% a game, I want to 100% it the first time through. I want to just, like, sit there until I figure out how to get that fairy, right? And that is one of the biggest problems. And then, because I'm just like, if I just had infinite time to do this, I think I would love Majora's Mask.
That's the fix. When you're in the dungeon, you have infinite time.
Yeah.
That's what I think should happen. You enter the dungeon, it's kind of like Phantom Hourglass. When you're within the areas that don't count towards your timer, when you're in the dungeon, time pauses, because
that's a weird thing, because I think that was a super cool mechanic in Phantom Hourglass, except in the Temple of the Ocean King, where it just, like, it was too much.
The Temple of the Ocean King and the Tower of Spirits are, like, the reasons why I don't want to go back to those games, because I know it. I've attempted them multiple times.
Yeah.
And I've seen them played at a very competitive level before, and it's like, the Temple of the Ocean King, though, like, it just, like...
If you didn't have to go through the Temple of the Ocean King the same levels 3 times before you got a real save point that you could skip to or something, it's like 3 times, right? I think that you have before the first time you could... Is it 5 times before...
Oh, you have to do it 5. You have to play through 5 times?
5 times total, right?
The Tower of Spirits, I think, is like 9 levels.
Right.
So,
but I think it's like the first 3 times you go through the Temple of the Ocean King, you have to do the same levels all those times. And then on the 4th time, you get like a save point at the 3rd level, so you can like skip part of it.
Ride the elevator up.
Yeah. So then it's not okay. It's not that bad. And if they had that the whole
I would
time,
want you to be able to, like, elevator each time.
Yeah, if you could elevator each time, I don't think it would be that bad. Because, actually, design-wise, I think Temple of the Ocean King is one of the best dungeons ever made in a Zelda game. It is so fun. If you could just go through it, like, all the way through the first time, it's a huge dungeon. The puzzles are good, but having to go through the first 2-3 levels several times really kind of kills it. And it's just like, by the 4th time you get there, you're just like, I'm in a bad mood about this now, you know?
Yeah. Like Skyview, they changed that up in Skyward Sword. But Crow, I want to get to Crow.
So, 2 points regarding Majora's Mask. My only real gripe with it is the save mechanic. I never liked the fact that when you save on one of the owls, as soon as you reboot the game, your save progress is gone.
That is a big problem, and that is actually why they fixed that in Majora's Mask 3D.
In 3D, they fixed that, and they fixed a lot. There's a lot of
yeah, because when you save at a bird statue, it's just a hard save point in Majora's Mask 3D. So I really like that.
If you have a big issue with that in the original 64 version, I recommend that if that's like the biggest complaint that you have with the game, definitely go through and play Majora's Mask 3D. I find it to be a breath of fresh air. I've been playing that game competitively since 2016, so like 5 years.
It's weird because that particular remake, I feel like, again, is a double-edged sword because you've got that, and I think objectively, the save system is better in the 3DS version.
It's infinitely better because you can save and you
just so much better. You could just
turn the game off and then come back.
It's awesome.
And there's also additional save statues that are scattered in convenient, normal places.
Yeah, you've got a few of them
like
through the dungeons
Temple, when you
and
flip
stuff.
the temple.
Yeah.
So you flip the temple, and you don't need to go back to an owl statue on the other side of the flipped world. There's one right when you flip the temple. So it's like, I'm at the second part.
But then some of the
I have
other
to get off the bus, or like my, my ride
Yeah.
is over, or
Right.
like, okay, like I'm, whatever. Like I have to go back to work
Yeah.
after my lunch break. I'll save, flip my 3DS to this, and then come back.
Yeah.
Great.
I love that.
And they change
but-
all the bosses too. The bosses are even better. I love them more in 3DS than
Okay, that's where I was actually going to go. Is actually I don't like the bosses as well as I do in the original version.
What don't you like?
So I feel like you're more shoehorned into a specific way to beat them. Like for example,
Yeah,
first
the eyeball
boss,
deal.
you have the whole eyeball, and that's the weak point and whatever. And like I feel like the eyeball is, first of all, it looks weird. It looks like it's just added after the fact,
unsettling, right?
which it is.
I
It
like
is
that
added
it's
after the
unsettling.
fact.
I like it. Oh yeah, of course it is.
And,
Yeah.
and
They plop
it
that in
just
there.
looks strange, and like they like, oh yeah, let's just staple
the
an
back of
eyeball
his
on
head.
here. Yeah, there's an eyeball on here, and
I don't know, I
it
think it's
changes
cool.
the fight also, because I remember
Yeah.
the first boss, the giant
It's
warrior,
cool.
Odawa.
Odawa.
I
yeah.
really
Masked-
loved him in the
Masked
N64
Warrior
version,
Odawa.
because I'd always dodge around his attacks, try and get out of his radius, and then shoot him with arrows. You cannot do that anymore. You have to get in the flowers and stun him first, and then you could hit him with the arrows, or the sword or whatever.
You
But
can still shoot him
it
with arrows, it's just
fundamentally
harder.
changes the fight, and it's weird.
Yes.
And I think I think I would be okay with it if they kept the essence of every fight, right? But it
Yes.
feels like they fundamentally changed the fight. And then with Goat,
So,
when you were in big ass
great.
Goron form, you could just
Yeah.
hit him wherever, right? Now you have to
Yeah.
kind of aim for the eyeball, and it's weird. And it doesn't make sense.
It's
It's
weird,
like,
but you don't
here's
have to.
Goat, and you hit him with your giant ass spiky fucking Goron body, and he doesn't take any damage because you didn't touch the eye. That
you gotta hit him like right
The
on
fuck?
the top of the head there.
yeah,
where
I'm
the
just like,
eyeball is.
it just makes the
And he,
fight
like,
slightly more annoying.
Top
I'm
his
like,
eye.
why?
What about Georgie?
George is
George.
fucking annoying no matter which one you do.
The
I don't know.
face, you
I
care about
didn't
the
actually
faces,
beat
though?
him on the 3DS version. That was where I kind of stopped with the 3DS version, because I was
Okay.
like, I
So you
felt
didn't
like
fight
that.
Twin Mold on 3DS?
I haven't fought Twin Mold on 3DS. That's another
Twin Mold
one of my
is
Zelda
really cool.
like
I'm not
things
gonna
that I
spoil
need
it
to
for
do.
you. Twin Mold is I find Twin Mold to be one of the most enjoyable fights. He can be very frustrating and be a real bastard in the 3DS version, but man, is it a cool fight. I think it's really
Okay.
great. I'm going to try to poke holes in all of these right now and explain why I think that the Majora's Mask 3DS version is better.
Do
You
it.
ready for it?
Do it.
All right. So,
Well,
it all comes... Crow.
before we go, be my guest. It's 2:30. I gotta go to bed.
Okay, good night, Crow.
You guys have a
We're going to
wonderful
chat
night.
bosses here.
I
My
appreciate
favorite
you
Crow.
guys being on here.
Thanks
you,
for
Crow.
coming. You're welcome for your punishment.
Yes, it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. Until next time, friends.
Bye, Crow. Majora's Mask. Let's get that piss and vinegar back. You ready for it?
All right, bro.
All right.
Shoot.
So, and this comes from me playing the game like competitively as well too, and like what I've found. Hello. Aw.
There's a wife here.
So Odawa, the first
Right.
fight that you have, the first boss battle that you have to deal with.
Uh-huh.
Now, in the OG, you never, ever need to turn into Deku Link at all.
Right.
All you need to do is throw one Deku Nut down and do spin attacks, and you stun lock him, and you just kill him.
Okay.
Very easy, very simple. In Majora's Mask 3D, you can kind of do the same thing with jump attacks as Young Link, but you still need to turn into Deku Link, I think, at least once. I like the eyeball part because, barring like the crazy wild strategies where you have to like do like a stuttering thing and then like pivot and then do like jump attacks like 5 times in a row, you're generally just going to like pop in the Deku Flower, hop up, he's going to look around, the eyeball pops out, and you stun him, and then you attack. I like that with each boss in the 3D version, you need to use the mask. If you're a normal, average person, you need to use the mask. The same thing happens with Goat. What happens in the Nintendo 64 version is you could just roll up on the edge, turn with your bow, and face Goat. And if Goat sees that you're not following him, Goat will just shoot laser like lightning at you. And all you do is you just stand there and just go boom, 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 and just shoot him with arrows, and you just beat him. It's the most anticlimactic fight for like a really epic boss. So I like that the eyeball part, even though it's like a little cheesy that you could just like hop one jump really well and then just like get Goat right on the top, it feels really good from someone that's like faced Goat a lot and like wants to get that like super epic hit. Maybe he could have been like you have to hit him once there after you like take out his ankles or something like that, or like you hit him 4 times and hits like all of his legs and he just like crumbles.
Right.
I think Goat is like one of the best boss fights in all of Zelda. Just the arena, the stuff that he does to you, the things that you have to do to like beat him. I think it's way better in Majora's Mask 3D because you can't just cheese him and just like stand there and shoot him with the bow. You have to like get that eyeball to pop out, and then you can attack and defeat him. George still sucks.
He always sucks.
Phase
He's just
2,
a dick boss.
That guy sucks. The ancient masked fish, George, he is like a real pain in the neck. Because you phase 1 attack him, and it's a great use of the gyro controls for the 3DS. Like you gyro, shoot, and you can like get quicker hits on him by like pivoting and shooting him with the bow. You look like an asshole on the train or something, or on the bus if you're like, playing in public, but if you're at home in your computer chair and you're swiveling around, no one cares. Some people may look at you funny, but that depends on your household.
Right.
That part is okay. But when you get to phase 2 for George, he becomes trolly. And there's no real pattern for him. Because he just like he lowers that middle platform, and you have to use Zora Link, which seems great, which seems like to align with everything else that I've enjoyed with the boss remakes, like the reimagining, redesign of the bosses. But in George's case, it sucks because you have to use the mask, which is fine. I love Zora Link. A lot of people don't like the swimming. I think that's where George becomes a pain. But you're stuck like on the whims of this boss of where he's going to raise these chains up and whether he's going to try to like inhale you. So you have to like kind of goad him into sucking you up, and then like you knock the chain, and then hope you don't blow up the trip mine or whatever, like the old school land or water mines.
Right.
I think that the hitbox for it is stingy, and the just like arena of it is like a real dang pain. So George like kind of sucks. He's the only one that I really don't like out of all these boss changes.
Right.
Twin Mold is cool. I don't want to ruin Twin Mold for you, but I like that the way they kind of like changed the Twin Mold fight. In the 64 version, you actually never need to use the Giant's Mask.
Right.
It's not required. You could just sit there and just like peer up in the sky and shoot like 20 arrows at Twin Mold, and then like, grab some more if you need to. Just and then you beat the boss. You just shoot both Twin Molds, and it's like it sucks. It's boring. If you do it that way, it stinks. But like if you turn into the giant, it's cool. But like you only really need to hit Twin Mold like a few times, especially if you have the Gilded Sword. It's just like a couple slashes, and then you win. Kind of underwhelming. Majora, though, is cool. Majora's always cool, no matter what. First 80 armor, still cool. Turn on that God mode, you just move.
Right. Yeah, I guess my kind of counter to your counter is that, yeah, okay, maybe in the N64 version you could cheese the bosses
Bless
a bit. Kevin says, "Bless you."
Oh, bless you.
Kevin
Drink.
says, "Bless you" again. Apparently, we have to drink. But I don't see that as really a like. There's ways to cheese bosses in Ocarina of Time, right? Like when you're fighting Morpha, you can stand in the
there is,
corner
yeah.
and then you're just fine, right?
Oh
So
my
I don't
gosh.
think that's
I die so much to Morpha because
Really?
I can't do it. I cannot do it. We just
Huh.
played. Skip and I were playing. She has a 1.0 cartridge of Ocarina of Time,
Oh yeah,
which is like super cool.
yeah, that is
And,
awesome.
We're at the Spirit Temple now in that run of that game,
Mm-hmm.
but like, oh no, it's the 1.1 version we played of my copy,
Okay.
and we got the Spirit Temple in like a weekend with my parents, and I died to Morpha like twice. It was pretty embarrassing.
Uh huh.
But I can't do it. I can't grapple Morpha in the corner. She just flies out of there.
Huh.
But yeah, you're right. You cheese them, and it feels. It almost feels pretty good.
Right, but at the same time, like, that's something that you kind of have to know after several playthroughs, right? Like, I went so long fighting
Same with Majora's
Nomorpha
Mask,
just
yeah.
by dodging, and, I never stood in the corner for the longest time for Morpha until
Yeah, you
literally,
dodge.
like,
Morpha does that.
a year or two
And then
ago.
you
It
just
was when
grapple.
Zelda Dungeon did their Zelda Warfare thing, the first time.
Oh, Zelda Warfare, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a really
I
cool
thought you were going
series.
to say the Caleb walkthrough, because Caleb did a really good walkthrough of Ocarina.
Okay, yeah,
And
because
then
I don't watch
Majora's Mask.
walkthroughs or anything, like, hardly, but the idea of, like,
Oh,
a kind of
you should check out
speedrun...
Caleb Simpson's
challenge.
walkthrough
Okay, that's interesting.
of Majora's Mask. Actually, it's very entertaining. It's good to watch as like a YouTube series.
Okay.
It's, even if you're not playing the game, it's just really fun. He's a
Right.
good host for it.
Yeah. Might have to check that out then. But yeah, it's like, after you've come back several times, yeah, you'll know how to cheese these bosses, right? I know how to beat... Even without the stand in the corner cheese, I know how to beat Morpha pretty easily. I know how to beat every boss in Ocarina of Time because I've played that game several times. Now that I've played Breath of the Wild like 3 or 4 times through, I know that technically you could find every Blight Ganon and just fire them off full of bomb arrows and they're dead, right? But that doesn't mean that's what I
That
do
game
the
is a
first
little
few
unique too, with
times.
how you can like
Yeah,
grind out a little bit before.
yeah, because the way
Well,
I see it in
any
Majora's
Zelda-
Mask
any
is
Zelda
not
game
that
can
it
do that.
takes away the way to cheese the boss fight. It's that it shoehorns you into the correct way to fight the boss. And I don't think there should be a correct way to approach a video game. And that's why I think Breath of the Wild is one of the best designed games ever. Because there is no correct way to do fucking anything. There is 100 ways to do everything. And none of them is correct. You can do anything you want, any way you want. You can cheese the bosses with bomb arrows.
Boss arrows.
Boss arrows. I'm fucking firing
To
light
boss
cannons
arrows.
at you out of my goddamn bow. But
My Gom arrows.
yeah, there's just a million ways to do,
I
whatever
agree
you
with
want to
that.
do.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of my only problem with the Majora's Mask boss redesigns,
I-
is that it
I
kind
hold
of
that
is
game
like...
really close to my heart too, so I'm like very critical of it.
Right.
But
My wife is laughing. Say hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Kevin says hi.
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 I'm
Majora's
gonna go play
Mask.
Slime Rancher now.
Oh, Slime Rancher. Is
Yeah,
it
my
the
wife's big
portable
into
edition?
Slime. No, we got it on Xbox because it's on Game Pass.
Oh, cool.
So
I got it from the
'cause
Epic Games
she
Store,
saw
so
her-
I got it on like the family computer.
Yeah,
That game is
because she
so
saw the
cute.
trailer for Switch and
It's
she was like, "This
adorable.
game looks neat," and I was like, "Okay, let me look into it." And I was like, "It's on Game Pass. I'm gonna download it for you." She's like,
It's
I haven't
adorable.
stopped playing it
Oh,
ever,
that's so.
like whenever I get a chance.
That's so
it is-
precious.
I get
It's
like
very
achievement
fun.
notifications on my phone,
At,
like
like,
when I'm
3 in
at
the morning.
work and in the morning. Yeah, when I wake up, it's
You
like,
osmosis.
yeah, I'm like, What are all these notifications from Xbox?
Oh yeah, April gets home at midnight and plays video games for 3 hours and then goes to sleep.
I mean, that's what I wish I did, except
that's
for
kinda
I have a
what we do
weird
on a
ass
Friday.
morning person job.
Which is weird because I'm a morning person and you're a night person.
Yeah, but I have the morning person job.
Oh, Aiden's. Oh.
Oh, oh,
Oh, bad baby.
I love Majora's Mask.
Yeah,
It's great.
it's a good game. I've
I see the gripes about the boss changes. I think that if there's any game that could get away with doing it, though, it's Majora's Mask.
yeah.
I think if they did that with the Ocarina of Time 3D version of the game, people would like.
I would have flipped my shit. Like, I'm not
why the
a
hell
fan
did
of
you
it
change
in
Bongo
Majora's
Bongo?
Mask, but I'm like, it's like, I still think Majora's Mask 3D is a good version of the game overall. But if they did that in Ocarina of Time, I would have flipped my shit. I would have been like, this is not fucking right.
This is not real, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
Majora's Mask, you can get away with it. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of, like, janky little things in the N64 version that are like, why do you need to save and quit at the L? Why can't you just save like you did in Ocarina of Time and just keep playing?
Yeah.
You know, like, why is this random soldier all the way out in, like, Akana Valley for no reason? Like, why do you need to find him for, like, a pretty important mask?
Yeah.
Why do you have to, like, I don't know, like, do weird stuff in the Deku Palace? Like, there's just odd things. Even in the 3DS version, too, there's weird things where it's like, why do I need to talk to a bean salesman in a hole to learn how to plant a magic bean? Or
It's
buy
a
one from
weird
someone? Like,
game,
why?
and that is
Yeah.
one of the things that I really love about it, is that it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, a required part of beating this Zelda game is that you have to go race two grown men on a horse and beat them in a horse race. You have to do that in order to beat Majora's Mask. You have to do that. You have to shoot alien dummies to learn how to play a song to get your horse to follow you. Like, why do you have to do that garbage? Why do you have to prove that you know how to pick up and throw a powder keg? You know, like, why do all these things exist? It's like, you know, I think in Ocarina of Time there's some like weird rando-dando stuff that you have to do too, and it's like, why did Link need to prove that he could hold a power bracelet on his wrist? Like, did it really matter?
Right, yeah.
Why do
It's
you have
like,
to talk to this ghost guy in the graveyard?
yeah.
Because it's cool.
Yeah. That's one of the things I kind of love about Zelda in general, is sometimes it's not afraid to be weird. Like, every Zelda game has its weirdness somewhere.
Grumble, right, man? Grumble.
We bring it all
Why do you have to
around
grumble
full
to beat the
circle.
game?
Right, yeah. That's
Bizarro.
yeah. I guess, apparently, I read about this, that grumble is like the closest English approximation they could come, but in Japanese, it's like an onomatopoeia for the sound of a stomach rumbling. So in Japanese, it's clear that he's a hungry moblin. He wants something to eat. So you give him the food or the bait. Which it's been food and it's been bait in different translations of the game in English. So it
I always
makes
call it the bait.
Yeah, it's usually called the bait. I think it's called the food in some version, the Game Boy Advance or something, or the Game Boy or the GameCube.
That was
one.
a weird era.
One of them or another.
Video
Yeah.
game guides.
Yeah. So
I love the Million Guide of The Legend of Zelda, which I've seen at Mossy's place at the Zelda Dungeon Marathon, where like they have their own unique artwork. The enemies are adorable.
Yeah.
It's really great. I love the Million version. It's cute.
Yep. We're really bad at saying awkward stuff tonight.
I just kind of thought we were, making up for the video game stuff.
I mean, kind of, but usually I'm like looking
We just
for
went on a
like
Zelda tangent.
we
This
did.
started as "What are you playing?"
It did, and then I said I was playing Zelda, and then we talked about Zelda for like 30 minutes or
I-
something.
I've
45.
recently
I don't
like
even know how many.
I've redesigned like the office area here, so I shared a few pictures. So like I have the games and cases here.
Right.
All these are like filled with Magic cards. I have the shelf here. But recently, Skip and I were in New York, and we bought a bunch of like very offbeat games. Lord of the Rings on Game Boy Advance.
Oh, that is
Star
the
Trek: The Next
best one.
Generation.
I played the Game Boy Advance one. Like, I played several different versions of the Lord of the Rings games when they came out. But
It's
the best
2 hours,
one...
I think, on Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, the best ones were the Game Boy Advance ones. Because you could play them with your link cable with up to 4-player co-op on the link cable.
Oh,
And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they were super, like... They were more in-depth RPGs than the Xbox or whatever console
Yeah, the
versions of them.
PS2 game.
Which,
like,
those
I
ones
have
were
Return of the
neat
King,
because-
and it's just like an action game.
Yeah, they were kind of generic, like, movie tie-in action. Yeah, that sort of thing. Like,
That was like a
every
very,
other
like,
one, like the Star Wars
mid-2000s
one and the Hulk
thing.
one and stuff like that. They were all almost the same game, just, oh, it's got a Star Wars skin now. And it was kind of neat because you got to see, like, the scenes from the movie, and that was kind of cool. But at the end of the day, it was just, like, not as great a game. But the Game Boy Advance Lord of the Rings particularly were actually really in-depth RPGs where you would find all sorts of really awesome, like, unique items, things like that. And, like, I just remember having so much fun, like, farming unique items and finding cool different things as you were going through the games. And again, as a co-op RPG, it was really cool because it was again, I referenced Baldur's Gate earlier this episode, and
That was your bread and butter.
Champions of Norath and things like that. It was really in that sort of vein. But, you know, everybody had their own Game Boy. Everybody had their own copy of it. So you could, you know, you weren't
Pal up.
bugging me. My brother wasn't bugging me when he was min-maxing his guy because I'm on my separate Game Boy. I can keep adventuring, right? And
Yeah, while
yeah.
he does this thing, right?
yeah, all right.
Yeah, what a concept. So what did we do? We snagged that. We got I bought Dynasty Tactics 2
Okay.
on PlayStation 2. Dynasty Warriors, like Fire Emblem strategy game. And it's just fine.
It's kind of neat. Yeah, I've played a lot of the Dynasty Warriors over the years, and but I haven't played that one, so that's kind of interesting.
I need to find Dynasty Tactics 1.
Hmm.
And then I think I've got 1 through 9 at that point. The only one I need... Actually, no, I need 7 Extreme Legends because Dynasty Warriors has like 100 games in it.
Right.
And we bought... what did we buy? A Star Trek: The Next Generation on Genesis. Which is like a weird...
I wonder if that was the same. I had a
game.
Next Generation game for Super Nintendo. I wonder if it was the same one.
It's probably the same game.
It was like a flight simulator, and you're like, it's like ship-to-ship combat kind of, where you're flying around your ship and blowing up the other guys.
This one was kind of like an RPG where you have to like choose which areas you need to like go to and research to like handle what's happening. It's sort of like an episode of the show.
Okay, so I guess that was a different one then. That's kind of
It
neat.
might be a little different, yeah. It's
Yeah.
funny how like very different games were from Super NES to Genesis. Like
Yeah,
very like basic concepts too, where it's like this game's a platformer, but it's like, oh, there's an overworld for some reason on the Super NES version, or like, well,
Right.
yeah, the Genesis version is just like an on rails sort of platformer. Like it's weird stuff like that happens.
yeah. Because I remember like the Genesis or the Super Nintendo one that I had was like a really kind of neat flight simulator for the time because it was somewhat Star Fox-esque, but it was
Cool.
not quite as three-dimensional, right? Like you could rotate in any direction and you could go in any directions, and it was like a fairly large-ish world that you could go through. And but I remember like I was always really peeved at my brother who would choose the Klingons and their bird of prey could cloak itself.
You cloak, yeah.
Yeah,
You're just
and it
like,
was
you were dead.
in terms of that game, it was so broken.
It was odd
It
job.
was not even fair. Yeah. Anywho,
Yeah, I feel you with that.
yeah. I seem to be having a small child problem, so I'm gonna say something real awkward now, so we can cut it off. What's something real awkward, Kevin? Say the most awkward thing that comes to mind right now.
People tripping over their shoelaces because they tied them both together into